Okay, what?
I'm going to the doctorate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling me I have this problem with my front head. When I'm touching it, it does like that.
Oh, crap shit. You and I
damn.
must have been drinking out of the same cup, you
We
know,
did.
because when I have the same problem with a lady, she goes to touch the testicles and it makes a sound like this.
Oh, that is sounding like the same sound of my front head, like this.
Oh, crotch, the same as your front head, like this.
You mean like this?
Yes.
Let me tell you about American idiots. I-D-I-T-O-T-H. Here's a coupon for a punch to the face. We break off your legs, put you in a sweet case. You better run fast like a dog and cat chase. I am the dog, you are the gate. How you like that? Hit to the gate with a hard piece of bread like. Now you're dead. I hate you so much, I take your mother on a date. Telling her she's paying and I'm eating 5 steaks. I guess you to mess on us was a mistake, but you're an I-D-I-D-O-T-H. You're free to say. Go and get a punch to your face. Time for get a punch to your face. Go without brothers or sisters. Oh look, a punch to your face. Time to get for a punch to your face. Week 152 and backshot babies. We bite you in the leg like a cat with rabies. Take all your ladies and make them to pay late fees at super stations and still they don't pay me. Cat rock, you try to sing but you can't. Maybe cause you forgot to put deodorant. Now Brittany Spanks won't go. You on a date cause you're an I-D-I-D-O-T-H. You have a stupid friend. Come to get a punch to your face. Time for get to a punch to for your face. Scott Queen cats on, yes. A punch to your face. Guess what? It's time for a punch to your face. Time for get a punch to your face. You say your head snake on the stock plates on your mother's face. When you came home, you got built in a buke at the beer stunt. Cause we beat you in a legs door but head goes under our foot like shoe dirt. We saw your girlfriend in red in her blue skirt. We put your car on the street to be bankrupt and did hit you harder than the Washington Packers. So please take a letter for a punch to the face. Nothing could be better than a punch to the face. You're not very good like Puff Taugi and Lace, so take out your socks and drop off with the race train. Have another punch to the face. Go tell your mother you got punched in the face.
I've been fucking niggas since the 5th grade. Really ain't no difference if that nigga gay.
Whoa, buddy.
Yeah, that was a good. I haven't heard that before. The Group X.
You haven't heard that? That's fucking high school type shit. That's Homestar Runner type shit.
Yeah,
buddy.
it was. All right.
I'm really just going back to all this stuff I like it's my own funeral. Let's get this music going. Let's get the background music going. Let's get some ambiance in here. We're back.
Not the show notes. The personal notes. Playing that at your funeral.
People keep asking me if I'm back, and I've been thinking, I'm thinking I'm back. Monster.
It's kind of over.
How's it going?
Not bad. Good. Great, actually. It's warm and sunny. Drinking in the sun.
It's hot.
Looking like an N-word.
It's a little much. I'm sick of every season in this fucking country, by the way. Yeah, I don't like any of it.
It's nice. I like
I love living in Canada, man. I love being Canadian. I don't like any of the stuff that happens here.
Yeah, there's something wrong with you. It's the best. The seasons are the best.
You ever just walk being uncomfortable?
You walk up to a tree and just look at the tree.
No. Who does that? Who's got the fucking? Who's got the time? Who's got the essence? Who's got the blood? I'm walking up to trees.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the last tree you walked up on?
Norway maple, probably 100 years old.
That's like this guy walked up on a Norwood Reaper, if you know what I'm saying.
Holy shit.
Oh, you got me.
Here's the thing: you're not losing your hair, but if you were, what would you do?
I am.
In a bad way.
I am. It's going, man. It's going slowly. I got a pattern. I got a little pattern.
I'm just throwing up some fucking chats up on the board here. I got a lot of compliments about the music. I'm feeling really good tonight. This is not the type of confidence you want me to have going into a stream. It's mine to lose.
You know what? Mike was in another chat the other day. He was like, "Hey guys, you gotta tell me honestly. You gotta tell me, is Dimes a cutie? Like, is he handsome?"
I saw him asking that. He's trying to figure out.
What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, is he the kind of guy who's so handsome that nobody ever tells him to shut the fuck up and that his ideas are dumb? Because he's so confident. He's so confident.
See, he's got this fire, inside, a black flame inside of him about me. I've been nothing but nice to this guy. We're talking about a guy in our community named Mike Nobody, who I like. I even subbed to his fucking 13-person channel.
He's the best.
I dig him. He's a good guy, but he seems like he's trying to vie for my downfall. Telling me, is he handsome because he won't shut the fuck up? And like, what a thing to say about someone.
Stirring the pot.
First of all, people tell me to shut the fuck up all the time. Where have you been?
Yeah.
Second of all, I am handsome.
I was going to say a minute ago, why does anybody even listen to this fucking show? But that's what it is. You come here to hear me tell you to shut up.
Yeah, here's you never tell me to shut up, and so people think they have to fill in the gaps. They think I need my medicine, and this is why too many cooks in the kitchen, too many doctors up in your guts. It's a bad way to phrase that. What's another way to say it? too many doctor penises raping you. That's what they say. It's not good. You just see the one too many doctors in the anus.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
It's like an NHS thing.
It is an NHS thing. Did I tell you this? My grandmother, this has nothing to do with anything that we're going to talk about. Because I got like a full section of fat at the start.
List. Yeah.
I got some fat we're going to chew. But my grandmother's got one of her friends is doing that medical assistance and dying thing. She's doing MAID.
No way, really?
She's got some manner of terminal illness.
How does that even? I don't want to derail, but how does that even come up in conversation? You talking to your grandmother? She's like, "Yeah, so my friend's killing herself."
Yeah, you're saying that in a joking way, but that is how it happened.
Holy shit!
I don't know if you know her. It's also an old person thing. If you're old, she's in her 80s, right? I think when anyone gets to their 80s, they just see talking about their friends dying as parlor talk.
Yeah, they do.
They'll say it to anyone. Oh, so, my Dorothy, she fell in the shower and cracked her head open, and that's all she wrote. They'll say it like that, too. I'll tell you what, I thought about that recently, and I can't wait to get to that.
Yeah.
I like to get to where everyone's dying, and I'm like, yeah,
kind of metal, actually.
Maybe it's going to be me next.
In the trenches of old age.
Yeah. Everyone's dying, and you're just waiting, and you're eating ice cream. Maybe you're going to get a nice rotisserie chicken. Maybe you're going to sit down, hey, Swiss Chalet, table for one.
Choke on a chicken bone, die right there at the Swiss Chalet bar. That's how you go.
I've been wanting to be dying my whole life.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to be dying in a Swiss Chalet for like my entire adult life. But then here's the fucked up thing, because this is uncharted territory. What do you do? Because you hear about it in the news. You know what's going on, but you don't know anyone who's doing it. And then she tells me, she's like, yeah, so it's happening on Monday. And, I'm having some people over for sandwiches. And
I would just say, like, that's pretty messed up, Grandma.
Well, also, but she's also retired nurse, right? So she's got not only the senior thing, but also the nurse thing.
This is your nutty grandma.
Well, she's the only one left.
Right.
But yeah, she's retired nurse. So I guess she likes it or believes in it. A lot of the medical professionals, they get into it because they want to kill people. Maybe she's one of those people that was killing people her whole career. I don't know.
We joke about that, but I genuinely think that's true. I really think a lot of people in the medical field are there because they like being around people who are suffering.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
A non-insignificant percentage. I'd say like 40 at least %. But yeah, the idea. I was laughing because she's saying she's going to have a luncheon with her friends and get sandwiches. I'm thinking that seems like it's not protocol, but there is no protocol. Like, what do you do for a suicide send-off? Maybe it is like a 8-foot-long sub, right?
I'd be worried about sending a message with like if you had really, really good hoagies, and then it'd be like, hey, you never had these hoagies when I was alive. What does that mean? It's like, it's got to be like a tuna fish, sandwiches or something.
I didn't say this to her, but it seems to me that convicted felons on death row are getting a better last meal than this woman is.
Take her to the strip club.
Well, really, because like, what's Ted Bundy getting? He's getting like a bucket of lobsters, and he's getting a sundae, and then also a fucking ribeye just to throw it in the trash. It's wackadoo stuff, right? What's she getting? Some egg salad in a triangle form.
Yeah.
That's no way to die. That's no way to live. That's really no way to die. But here's the other thing that they forget to tell you about boomers. They don't know good food.
True.
That whole generation doesn't know a good food. All their steaks are well done. They eat ice cream upside down. It's just imitation crab meat.
Yeah.
Right out of the Vietnam
I was,
tin. Like,
I was gonna say somebody had like a fucking 3-day-old snow crab in Punta Cana, and it was like life changing for them. They talked about it for years. It was the story, and it's like, oh man.
There are simpler people, and I say this with affection. You know, like a boomer could go on one vacation their whole life, and that's the vacation. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. I did it, and I went to Hawaii.
Nice? Wouldn't that be nice if they just went on one and not like 15 a year?
Yeah. Like, you and me, as much as shit we talk, we've been on too many vacations. You're a fancy guy. You don't want people to know this about you. Judas, he's trying to be this like salt of the earth, fucking kicks off his boots to walk into the swamp. You know, he's, I'm at home in the wetlands. I'm at home amongst the ducks and my people.
At the trees.
The scarecrows.
Yeah.
The Michael Myers is lurking. No, this guy's
glyphosate.
He's a fancy lad.
I'm not. He's lying.
You got a taste for it. I bet if I gave you a truffle right now, you'd take a bite out of it like a red delicious apple.
Yeah, fucking a chocolate truffle.
He thought he got me with that, but it is also a similarly fancy thing to do. Yeah, well, like a nice $25 Lindor truffle like that. No, I'm of the people.
Shit.
This is going to be a hard thing because I busted up my right arm. I got it all ganked.
What'd you do, buddy?
Well, I woke up and I considered doing a smart thing, but then I made an executive decision to do a dumb thing, and it was hanging the heavy bag. I got the heavy bag, and I used to hang it on a girder in our old house, just from the ceiling, but I needed to get a stand for it.
Did you have a girder in there, or do you mean a joist?
In the basement?
Yeah, joist, right?
It was just like a big metal beam. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Oh, yeah, no, I get it, because it's one of those houses. Yeah, it is. I guess you call that a girder. Yeah. All right.
That's my like Looney Tunes understanding. It's a girder anvil.
No, I know what you mean. They put like fucking I-beams in some of those houses.
Yeah, like it was a solid house, but I would hang that, and then I just need a stand for it now. So it's me built the stand in the garage on the dirt on the rocks, and then I was trying to hook. You have to lift it up and hook it over, and I just thought, yeah, this is something. Of course, you can lift it up, but then you need. I tried to just freehand it and just balance it on one arm, you know. Thinking I'm big shots instead of just a podcaster.
Are you 25?
I know. Can I tell you this? You can't see this right now, but I've got these scars on my hands right now because you know you still do work around the house, right? A lot of these guys, who we're not that fancy, right? But I really gouged my hand up, and this would have been like 5 months ago, and the scar's still there.
Nah, it just stays. Yeah,
These scars used to heal.
You're not growing anymore, man.
I know. So I've been looking at this. I burned it on a pot once on my thumb. I'm like, I used to do this all the fucking time. I used to work in kitchens.
I got a big pot burn on across my knuckles because Bob dropped a pot on my knuckles like 13 years ago, and it's still there. So
my body used to heal. What the fuck? This is the first time. Like you were young, we got vigor. Yes, of course. Every guy, right? But
this is just a bit, guys. We're joking. We're actually extremely vigorous and young, and this is all just kayfabe. Just so we're clear.
Oh, we got Bill Wilson here. Judas more like Jude ass fat from the Truffles.
Oh.
He has got your number.
I want to say hi to Mildewed Anchorman too, because he called me out. Hey, buddy, how you doing? He said,
"What
hey,
did he say?"
No,
he gave you a night. But here it wasn't just a smiley face. It was some kind of strange, twisted one.
Give me a wink. I think he's gonna get me. He's haunting me.
Oh, we also got a Sundin here. Nick DiPaolo had a joke about the mom listing all her friends who had died. Smith dead, Kaminsky dead, Littman dead. Yeah, it's true. And here's the thing: it's It's divorced from reality because even though you want to talk about it, you should know that your grandson doesn't want to read the obituaries with you. There's other stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
You're Canadian. Talk about Trump.
Also, isn't it weird? Like you never tell me about these people until they're dying, and now it's news. Now that that they're dying, it's news.
Yeah. But she's also a social butterfly too. So she plays up like, oh, I'm old and lonely, but I'm like, oh, can I come over visit? Well, let me check my day planner. I'm like, you bitch, you fucking, you fucking slag. A sex freak, been off the adrenochrome for a month and you're a shadow of your former self. Here's the thing: you start getting in the mid range of life, and you start looking into pills. Like I hear you guys taking testosterone pills. I'm like, hey, maybe. Why not? It'll make you violent. I could be more violent.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what happens when you get older. You get less insane, but we should have more of that insanity. Speaking of which,
oh, this is just multivitamins. Never mind.
Okay, multivitamins aren't even anything. Vitamins. By the way,
that counts.
There's no reason to take multivitamins. You want to talk about some insane shit? Can we talk about? This is old news.
I love this track. I have no problem with this at all. I have no opinion on this.
Everyone said everything there is to say about this song, of course. I've been on a couple of live streams recently where it came up. I was on with a buddy of mine named Basil, who is a gay Muslim, but everyone gets one. I think that's fair, right?
You have a gay Muslim friend?
I'm friendly with Basil. Look, my clout is shot. My street cred in this space is fucking gone.
Oh no, man.
Every fascist I used to know became a Nazbol.
And the other half became cat boys.
I keep making friends, and then later on learning that they're gay or Jewish or something. Like, okay, you know what?
We just say that your friend should like be strung up and thrown away, though. Like, we should get rid of him.
I know. I was interviewing. This interview hasn't gone up yet, but with a guy who I've known for like 3 years. His name was Joe Clark.
Yeah.
And he started by bullying me in emails, saying my design sucked, and he was right. He's.
I know Joe. Yeah. I don't know him, but
But he's a nice guy. I learned through the conversation that he's a reformed gay, or he's a celibate gay. I'm just like, it keeps happening. But
Gross.
you know what? So fuck me, right? What do I know? I don't know anything. No one should listen to me. My Judar, my gaydar, everything's busted. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's born with it. Yeah, it's all right.
Every Nazi I grew up with is now a Palestinian. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Everyone's gone.
Goofball Behold just typed into the chat, super chat, $49.99 US.
Or is that? I think that is a super chat though.
No.
Oh no, or is it?
No. Is it real?
I think it is. Like he just gave.
Is that $50 fucking from man, the absolute legend?
He it's been so long since he received money. He doesn't know what it feels like or looks like.
Buddy, we love you.
I hand this guy $5 fucking $. He starts throwing up.
Yeah, I do.
Here we go. You look into gear just for the rage. Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's good to get into. This is why I like meth too. Everyone's like, "Oh, meth must feel good." I'm into it just for the shakes.
Yeah.
I see a jittery guy and I say, God, I see what you have bestowed upon others and I want that for me.
Yeah.
I found that space and lost respect for dimes. Yes, he probably did. Well, I
Bill
make
Wilson,
a lot of
super chat, $1,488. Thanks, buddy. You missed the decimal, but we love you.
Okay, give me some money. Can you imagine he just gave us $1,000 to say, like, I lost respect for dimes?
YouTube doesn't want you to know, but if you type it in, it counts, and they have your credit card information.
Oh, Cribble Thread. He was gay. He's still gay, but he was gay, too. Yeah. But you can hear me in real time be like, oh, like, again? Oh, whatever. Hey, you know what? What do I know?
I mean, look, it's Piss Earth. They're everywhere, man.
Yeah, so... We got the Hitler song. And what are we talking about here? Can we hear this? Look at the conviction on that man's face.
I was just gonna say that they look kind of gross and retarded, even more so than your typical black extras in a music video. And I wonder if that's intentional. But
I don't think that
these look like guys that he found at the bottom of an actual mine in Africa.
the aesthetic is inconsistent because some of them are dressed like Vikings, and then there's just this guy in a do-rag.
Retarded all over, yeah. Which again, it's Kanye. He's an insane person. So I bet you he directed this himself.
Now let me tell you this: there's people all throughout America, all through the world, in Korea, humming this tune. I was humming it the other day. Despite what you think about Kanye West, whatever you might think about rap music, if you heard this song, you're walking around going, you're wrapping the cord around the vacuum cleaner, going. So there's that.
Yeah, and when you come back, snap back to reality, and you're wrapping the cord around your neck.
And let me just say this about the song as well, that I know you're not into Kanye West, you've got no familiarity with him, but him releasing this after Vultures 1 and 2 is miraculous, because I've been kind of tuned into what Kanye West does now and again, and it was not looking good. I just think he wasn't producing music in any good way. It was really sloppy and shitty. He's off the nitrous. This song has no business being as catchy and actually as decent as it is, even if there's 1,000 ways this song could have been really bad. And you had said you were even humming it the other day, and you hate this shit normally.
Yeah, I hate it. I objectively hate it, but subjectively, I did actually get it stuck in my head. So I understand what everybody's saying, like, oh, you're driving and suddenly it pops in your head. Yeah, I get it. I think there's something else going on, and I defend my position that it is objectively bad music. If we look at it in the context of music broadly, it's bad. But yeah, for what it is, it worked, didn't it? And I was making the joke in another chat that, like, I mean, I've had the fucking Fabricland theme stuck in my head for 20 years. So
okay, well, that's just one of the top jingles, and we've talked about this. This is one of the first things we talked about on the show.
We've literally covered the Fabricland jingle multiple times in the past 8 years. So, like,
guess what, baby? 2025, we're talking about Fabricland. Fabricland. It's offensively good, but this song, you know. Everyone's already had their opinions about it. What are we bringing to the table? Nothing much, I'm sure. But I will say that it is funny seeing the conviction in these men's faces as they're saying nigga Heil Hitler, because realistically, we say nigga Heil Hitler all the time.
Well,
and here's the thing, to get a white person to say Heil Hitler, they would be a bit cheeky about it, I'm sure. If you get a whole room full of white people, they'd be like, nah, Heil Hitler, hee hee. But look at this. Look at his face. That's a guy who just got paid 15 fucking bucks.
Yeah.
And he looks like he means it.
Do you think they're like Nation of Islam or Black Hebrew Israelites or something? Like, or did he just pull guys from the street who needed to make $500?
Here, for the sake of the discussion, I want to say that they're Nation of Islam. Realistically, I think they're just gay men. I think they're actors. I think he put out a call for actors, and I think,
not joking. If he puts out a call in his circle, I would not be surprised, realistically, about half of the people that show up are gay, just because it's more prevalent in the black community, and because it's LA and it's acting. These are all gay niggas.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you're appearing in a music video, odds are that you're gay.
Yeah,
just as an extra.
Yeah,
there's no reason a straight person would ever do that.
No.
Yeah, but this dovetails with something that I wanted to talk about, and we were discussing it I think it was in Fortisax's community, that people are still talking about this song, and I don't think our opinions have changed. My opinion was not the best song in the world, better than he's produced recently. It's interesting. But remember a couple weeks ago he was saying he molested his cousin.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing that I just noticed, because the Prudentialist on our sister show, Do You Even Read, he had just released a episode that's a combination of 2 episodes. It was the very first Do You Even Read episode that was an Odyssey exclusive. It wasn't even when we had the show. It's kind of what triggered us having the show, because we were discussing this book. It was called What Went Wrong? The Breakdown of the Black-Jewish Alliance. It's an amazing video. I really liked making it, and there's a lot of amazing data in there, and like what happened with the relationship between Jews and blacks in America. And it's written by a rabbi, so it's got this interesting Jewish perspective. And the perspective, of course, was like, we've done everything for you. We controlled all your movements, and this is how you repay us. But it's funny because we recorded that 2 years ago, I think around 2 years ago. And someone had pointed out that in the beginning of that, we remarked that, this topic is very relevant, of course, due to the comments made by Kanye West recently, which is to say that we've been having this discussion for like 2-3 years.
Right.
Like 2-3 years. We keep saying, well, what can we say about Kanye West's recent anti-Semitic comments? So the point being was, I've been here before with this guy. The last time he did the anti-Semitic comments, there wasn't a song, of course, but a week later, he apologized for them. He apologized to the Jews. Then a week after that, a month after that, he did an interview where he said that blacks and Jews are controlled by white people. Then the month after that, he says black people are the real Jews. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, look at this song. It's a catchy song. It's nice to be excited about things. I like being excited. I like when things I like happen. I'm just trying to look ahead and say, how can this be 1 step forward, 2 steps back? Because it's always 2 steps back with this guy. Does this song really work if in a month he's got a raped Hitler crucified? You know what I mean? It seems that he's capable of undoing this stuff, especially because this entire song is framed by him also saying, I'm a cuckold and no one understands me, so I guess I'm a Nazi now. There's a friend of mine named Agnonsis who basically said this same thing. Like, if you read the lyrics, he's saying like, yeah, I'm a Nazi because I'm the villain and I can't see my kids and I'm a cuckold and I molested my cousin. I'm like, okay, I don't want those things associated with Hitler. That doesn't mean that Hitler didn't do any of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm beyond even discussing whether or not this is good for right-wing narrative, and it's obviously not. There's nothing about this that is related to us. It's like I was gonna say it's a Rorschach test, but not really. It's just like at the most, just the word Hitler is in it. Think of what aside from the phrase Heil Hitler is even to like about this. I don't even like the phrase Heil Hitler, by the way. I'm fucking Canadian, and it's 2025. So, like, why is this relevant? This is more relevant in leftist discourse than it is to us. There's nothing about this to like, actually, without even touching the music. There isn't actually anything good about this. Like you said in the lyrics, this guy is a schizophrenic, pedophile, molester, sex pest, lunatic, and I don't know why people give him the time of day. Like you said, we've been talking about this for years now.
The thing is, I have never been crazy about Kanye West's lyrics because even a song like Blood on the Leaves is just complaining about a bitch and being on too much ecstasy and MDMA, right? So, like, if you actually look at his lyrics, the lyrics of this song, outside of the chorus everyone likes, it's just nonsense. It's kind of shit. But that's the thing. He's a sex freak. He's saying free Diddy because he is Diddy. This is the guy who would like to go to the freak offs. Yes. This is the guy who, if the story's to be believed, he's a weird fetishy guy.
But I don't want to believe this is true, but apparently there's still plenty of people ostensibly in our sphere who think that this guy is a musical genius, that he's like, he's a fucking savant.
I wouldn't say he's a genius.
You wouldn't say that, but I'm saying I'm hearing this live from people I have to ban.
I'm trying to talk to those people because even someone like Dr. Dre, they would say Dr. Dre is a musical genius, but he's more of a conductor of other people who play instruments. That's kind of what he's famous for. He'll get tons of session musicians in to the studio and kind of let them go. And Kanye West does do that. But if you look at what they actually do, what is the technical skill they provide, it's kind of chopping up beats then programming drums.
But if he was, when you say somebody is like, I forget, what did he say? He wasn't a savant. He said he was, I forget. But he essentially said he's like the greatest musical genius of our age. I'm like, fine, then put his music up against any other music. Like, I can just off the top of my head, I can name 20 artists that I think are better and concurrent to him that are like infinitely better
Here's
than
the
him.
thing, they
And that's
said
without
that-
even going back through history. Every
Because-
generation, there's something better than him. He's not good. He's okay.
There's a way to critique this from the perspective, or him, from the perspective of I hate rap music, I hate all this stuff, but I'm also trying to speak to the people in their language, which is saying like, I hear where you could make that claim, but I'm like, I don't even think he's the voice of his generation.
Yeah.
I think I think if he's very popular,
But-
of course, and rich and notorious. However, as much as we might be loath to say, I think Taylor Swift is the voice of the millennial generation for women.
I don't
And if you
like
had to-
that, but I could see that as being
Yeah,
true.
I don't like it, but it sounds accurate.
I don't like it, but it could be accurate. But to say that, and you know what? If you want to say that he's the voice of a certain generation or a certain group of people, I could even get behind that. But that's a very different thing from saying he's like a genius. He's a creative genius. Like, he's not a creative genius. He's actually retarded. He is actually and not a savant retarded. Like, he's retarded. he's a
Because
retarded
I'm trying to think, like,
man.
even if you wanted to stay within rap, there might be other better examples of rappers.
Right. Like, right. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm crazy that people can't. I don't know how else to explain it, but like, that's a perfect example. Within rap, just within rap, you're a rap guy. You can't name a single rapper who has better music than Kanye. Not one. He's like the best ever. If you think that, I think you should have your head examined. So
just this was sort of leading into what we were discussing in the chat recently. This wasn't 40's chat, I believe, but someone had made the claim, like what you were saying, which is that he's the voice of a generation, and no matter what's good that people are chanting this, you'll hear children chanting this, and it's part of what they describe as a vibe shift, which is a term I reject, but I won't get into that right now. Point being that it seems that there is a discursive shift that I think the example was given that boomers are talking about Holocaust denial in a way that they never did before.
are they though, or are they just saying nigga Heil Hitler?
Well, this is like an aside. Like, I'm noticing this plus other things. Like, they're
Okay.
actually questioning the Holocaust, or they're questioning, and it's not just the trans stuff, but they're also questioning other institutionalized narratives. And they say, oh, this is all part of it. And I said, yes. Now, I hate to be a wet blanket, and I don't want to rain on anyone's parade, but just there's something to keep in mind here. And this is what we've been discussing a lot in my paywall show, Real Secret Coffee Hours. So is it true that people are chanting this song? They're out there saying nigga Heil Hitler. Yes. Is it true that maybe a lot of our narratives and our talking points are becoming popularized? Yes. That's good. Hey, I like that. I like when we win. I like when good things happen. However, I had said, and just to give one example, I had said that I think if we're talking about the Holocaust questioning narrative revision, I think one figure that has more to do with that than anything would be Candace Owens.
Yep.
And we don't like that. Of course we don't like that. Most people here would not like that. However, I think that is true, that most of our talking points are being popularized by people who are relatively new to them and not of the...
Don't represent us.
They're not qualitatively similar to the types of people we've been talking about for 10, 15 years.
Black ex-liberal women. It's like the most non-us thing that you can get while still plastering over it and calling it right wing.
And I don't want to throw any particular person under the bus, but I'll give an example. You know, we talk about the BAP sphere a lot without getting too deep into that. But it's like, this is a collection of people who are at the very least mostly Jewish, who are trying to popularize fascist, aesthetics. And let me just get this guy off the screen, by the way.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
There's a lot of right-wing ideas, red pill ideologies that are being forwarded by these groups that might not fit in previously. So point being, just to sum it all up, is that yes, we are seeing these talking points normalized, but the people leading the charge on that are non-whites and Jews. Now, all I'm saying is that, like with Kanye West, can we think ahead 2-3 steps into how that can be subverted? And we're seeing that right now with not the woke right stuff, which we'll get into in a second, but the saying that anti-Semitism is low class, criticizing Israel is low class. We need an elite human capital form of anti-Zionism. That's what they say. And so I'm like, why? We all know what this is. However, they're the ones who are leading the charge into the New York Times, into the mainstream press. So all I'm saying is that, yes, our ideas are being normalized, popularized. However, look who is, be cynical about who is responsible for that. It's not the people who've been in the muck, not the people who've been slugging it out in comment sections for the past 10 years, the people who actually did the work, the people who actually fought inch by inch to put their lives or livelihoods or reputations on the line to get these ideas out there. The people who actually fucking sweat and bled for this thing. It's a bunch of grifters coming in, but will those grifters morph it into something that is against our interests down the line? Is all I'm saying.
If the message itself is a weapon, if you think of it as a weapon, right? Because we have goals. The message itself isn't the goal. The message is a tool or a weapon that we use to achieve our goals. So if somebody else, after years of fighting, somebody bigger than us with more resources than us comes and takes our weapon from us, you can view that as, oh, thank God, finally somebody is coming to pick this up. Or is it just at the enemy disarming you? Is it literally just the enemy in your camp disarming you and using your own weapon against you? And that's all I can see, BAP especially. But this shit with Kanye, I don't know how anybody looks at this and says this is good for us. Like, it's normalizing it, I guess, but the people that it's benefiting are our enemies. Because it's not like we only have one group of enemies. We're surrounded by enemies who are themselves enemies of each other. So this isn't good.
Well, it's like when, let me see if I can pull this up. Keir Starmer. Have you seen the news of that?
Right.
So he was basically, everyone hates Keir Starmer. Everyone's hated Keir Starmer for the longest time. He's apparently coming down hard on immigration. He sent back like 7,000 people, which is a pivot. But but you should be suspicious of this, just like we're suspicious of Mark Carney, the globalist Bank of England shill who says, he's a patriot now. I'm like, I like what you're saying, but here's the thing: we need to think about this more three-dimensionally. There are people just parroting something to win, or are these just political operators? Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, I was going to say this is the same way that I'm critical of Trump. That there's a lot of things that he says, which I agree with to what he's saying, but I'm not just going to follow him or like him because he says that, because Trump is a notorious liar, like all politicians, and he says things and he doesn't fucking do them, like his entire first term. So a lot of the things that people are crediting him for right now are things that he said he's going to do, but he hasn't fucking done. And like with Starmer, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be the new tough on immigration crowd. Like, okay, 7,000 you sent back. That's literally nothing. It's negligible. But that's all you're ever going to do. But now you are the guy who everybody hates, but you're also the guy who has the anti-immigration plan, which means I guess we're all pro-immigrant now. If we're going to be anti-left, we have to be pro. Like, it's muddying the waters. Like, can we just... I hate this, man.
Well, and I hate to sound dour, because you could take this as us winning. Of course, they must appeal to what people like us are saying.
It's winning when the thing actually happens, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and also
fucking talk about it.
I won't accept that as a win unless they're going to give credit to the people who had put the work in. But it seems that they will adopt these points and still persecute the same groups of people who were saying this the whole time.
Somebody made a good point about Starmer, that he's apparently hugely anti-immigration. He's going to shut down all the asylum hotels, but there's still hundreds of English and Irish men in prison awaiting trial for protesting asylum hotels. So which is it, right?
Exactly. Do you want to see something else that's going to piss you off? I was going to get to this at one point. Might as well get to it now. This is... Hold on, let me see if I can get this pulled up in a bit of a better way that's not so fucked up because of how I decided to... Here we go. National Post. White South African family's refugee bid rejected, accused of boosting case with racist propaganda. This is the National Post. This is a Canadian story. we're going across the pond, but it's the same sort of story because the big news we've been hearing, not big news, but news nonetheless in the past few days is South African refugee claimants have made their way to America, and all the leftists, of course, I'll see if I can pull up some of those videos as well, are saying these aren't real migrants. We don't want you here. Of course, the only reason they're saying that is because they're white and they hate them and they want them to die. And that's what I look at here. You know, the claim of the family of 6 was based on being white South Africans at risk of persecution due to their race, namely Afrikaners. And I don't think I need to explain to everyone what that means. Can I not see this fucking thing? Oh, I need to sign in? Hey. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I had it pulled up earlier, but I need to prepare these. So I'll summarize it for you. Paraphrase it. What they were saying was this family had come over here, made a claim. They came over here to visit their family and then made the refugee claim. And they were citing statistics and citing their own personal experiences, saying that they'd been burglarized, their farm had been burglarized twice in the past. They claim it was racially motivated. They claim that they are being harassed racially. Their children in the schools, in the streets. You know, I haven't been to South Africa, but I bet that's a common enough story. And they're citing examples. And then the defense of Canada, you know, the people in charge of reviewing these claims were saying that that's all racist propaganda. It's them telling their truth, saying their story, saying that, look, we're a minority in this country that is very clearly trying to attack us. And they're saying, no, that wouldn't happen. They're saying that you believing, even though you're a minority, even though you're a racial minority in this country, it's unacceptable for it to even be the case that you could ever be subject to racism, which says to me, they want you dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what signals we send up about mass migration, I'm like, at the end of the day, they still want these people specifically dead because they won't accept that a white minority can ever be in danger. Yeah. And then if these people were to go back and get raped and killed, they'd fucking laugh. So I try and keep that fixed up on the wall here to remind, like, they fucking hate you and want you dead.
We've known this and have talked about this for a long time. Like a lot of people in our space have. I'm waiting for this to translate into a message that is picked up by the mainstream. I'm not seeing it right now. I'm seeing the opposite. I'm like the kind of outrage that you and I are feeling at seeing the media say, like, oh, well, these people aren't really refugees. This is a big fucking joke because they're actually white and you can't be a blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, but nobody in the mainstream is talking about the double standard. Ironically, because the conservatives love to just be, oh, well, we imagine if the roles were reversed, but I don't even see that. Right? Like, you'd expect a National Post article where they're like, can you imagine if the roles were reversed? But they're
yeah. So I'm just trying to pull up. There's a video that I saw fairly recently. There's actually a few that I responded to. Okay, let me pull this one up because this one is bad. Let's get this shared here. Get a load of that. Look at those glasses.
Oh, this bitch. Damn, man.
You cannot tell me those are not cardboard glasses.
That's rough.
I don't like that women think that we don't know what they're doing with these big glasses. It's to make yourself look slimmer. It's to make yourself look like a child, basically. Like, I want to be petite, a little thumbelina.
You noticed her total lack of an upper lip?
She's like a turtle.
Like a turtle, yeah.
Let's see what she's got. Do you want to hear what she has to say?
I don't, but here we go.
This video is for the white Afrikaners who are coming to the United States. I think you've already landed here. And I know that some of the folks who met you at the airport told you, welcome, we're so glad you're here. Most of us aren't glad you're here, okay? We don't want you here. We never wanted you here. And furthermore, I noticed they're gonna settle you in Idaho, Ohio, and North Carolina. I will tell you, they're not our finest states, so they're a good fit for you.
It's great that while she's saying that, she's also insulting Middle America too. It's like, I hate you and I hate those people because they're also white. Just
I understand that many of you are farmers, and I've seen a lot of people say, oh, that's great, we need more farmers. Sorry to say we don't. We actually need farm workers because we've deported most of them. So if you can, put your picking hat on and think about, picking produce, that's largely probably what you're going to be doing here.
So we're not going to watch the whole thing, but I just want you to look at those eyes for those of you just watching and not listening to this after. I'm always reminded of that Sam Hyde quote: "When we win, never forget that these people want you dead, and your children raped, and they think it's funny."
Yeah,
that's what, and I think fix that to the wall too. You got Kirsten, the perennial politician that will say whatever it takes to throw you some red meat to get you to shut up, and then the unquestionable reality that there's, I don't know how many white people do you think want white people to die? I'm gonna say 40%. Does that sound like a high number?
I mean, to die as in to go extinct, yeah.
Including themselves, themselves.
No, probably at least a third, yeah, for sure. In the states, specifically the states.
That is something that has really bogged down a white identitarianism, I think, around the world, in Europe and America especially. And that's what's made so many white nationalists in that ilk so bitter. It's because they keep beating their head against this wall of. It seems like half of all white people want to fucking die.
Yeah.
They don't, and they want you to go away for pointing out that you should care about these things.
But that's okay, honestly, right? Like, that's not a big deal. They can go with the Browns, and they can.
Red Green Nationalism says 25%. Because I might be, because maybe I'm just going too much by voting demographics. Because to me, I look at the Democratic Party as a very openly anti-white party. I'm like, well, half the country, it seems to, do that. So maybe, I don't know, I'm playing fast and loose with the numbers, but it seems maybe that changes when the boomers pass away too, by the way.
Maybe.
I don't know. But there's a lot of this still. This wasn't just a Gamergate thing. This wasn't just a COVID thing. These people are still around. And I don't know, that really boggles my mind. What else do you got? What else do you think about that, Genius? I've got to pull up some other stuff here.
Oh, buddy. I mean, I'm firmly on the side of we have too many people.
Mark Trouble says suicidal empathy. And you can very easily wander down a path of blaming liberalism, and then that forks off into blaming Christianity. And then, there's a bunch of root causes people debate about regularly.
Christianity, they can't escape blame here. I mean, look, I don't want to say Christianity. Let's say the church, specifically the Protestant church, but all extant large churches bear the blame for this. Like, there has to be, if there's going to be a clean out politically, there needs to be a big fucking clean in all churches as well. Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we mentioned earlier woke right? Because this, I don't know if you know about woke right. You've heard about this. I assume.
Look at Jimmy Lindsay.
Look at him.
A fat boy with a woman's last name.
Never knowing how to dress. Never knowing how to put on a hat. Doesn't know what to do with his fingers.
Yeah.
He's
got the posture of a Linux user.
Looks like he puts on his shirt arms first. Just looks like
he lays the shirt on the bed and dives into it. Like
everything about him is wrong. He's aging as bad as I've seen a person.
I mean, the first time I saw his video, his like fake article submission video, was like 6-7 years ago or something, and I'm like, this guy's kind of goofy, but I see where he's coming from. And that was the first and last time I had any respect for him, because from that moment on, he just became the biggest fucking wart.
Can I just say,
go away.
For those who can't see, I'm going to describe what I'm seeing here on the screen. It looks like he applies pomade to just the front of his hair.
He does.
Like you would do in high school, like AJ Soprano would do, flicking up the... You were never a cool skater guy like me, so you never did just the front spikes in the hair. But him doing it in like a fucking medieval times kind of way. He's got to lean into not having a chin. Yeah. It is possible that your thyroid gets so bulbous that the beard is drawing attention to the, like you should honestly just go right from mouth to neck. There would be more dignity in it. Yeah. He's got to have something on his arm. Can you imagine if he got a tattoo?
That would be pretty weird.
How can you have a purple-haired gender goblin, and then this CRT race person who wants nothing to do with the gender stuff at all, and then you have a fat activist over here who doesn't care about either of those, and then you have Antifa who's out in Black Bloc breaking something, and how can you call? Or then you have an environmentalist in Extinction Rebellion. How do you call all of them woke? Well, we know how you can call them all woke because they have the same general mindset, the same general.
Also, I would not call all those people woke. Like the Extinction Rebellion people, like extreme environmentalists, I wouldn't call that woke at all. If you have been, you've been mistaken. We actually...
Eco-terrorists have been around for like almost 100 years. They're not fucking woke. Woke is a very specific and recent thing.
Oh, Bill Wilson, just to our last point, there was a church that ended its resettlement program due to the South African
Yeah,
people.
the Episcopalians, those fucking faggots.
Yeah, it's like, I hate to say this is revealed preference, but it smacks you in the face that these people they don't think you can be a refugee. They don't and forget, can white people be subject to racism in America? You could be fleeing from bullets and they'll say, well, you probably deserved it. And it's only towards you. Yeah. And that's individuals and that's institutions. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we talk about on the show. That's what a lot of people talk about. And then there's this faggot. There's this fucking heavy bag full of fucking diarrhea over here. Guy wearing a shirt. I see what you're doing with the tight arms, the T of the t-shirt. That's for people who lift. That you can't be wearing a shirt like that. Look at this. Look at the shoulders of the shirt. They're folding in. There's a pleat in there because that's where shoulders are supposed to go.
He forgot to bring the shoulders.
He forgot to bring the shoulders to the shirt party. You're not supposed to have pleats in the shoulders of your shirt, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, man.
Tactics, the same critical theory and activism approach to taking on society. And it doesn't matter how it manifests. Is the conspiracy the post-war liberal consensus? Is the conspiracy the neocons, had too soft of a politics? That's the NatCon view. Is it the Jews control everything? Is it that the white heritage Americans have to reclaim their former glory?
Different.
For the record, all of those are true. For the record, every single one of those is accurate and is a thing that
How do you put these all together? Well, it's because they're all true and we all believe all of them. So there it is.
How can you believe these things at the same time? White people should reclaim their birthright and also the Jews are working against it. How? I mean, you can. It's not. These aren't even spinning plates. These are just like a stack of plates in front of you. How can he be? Who's befuddled by this? This is the thing that I don't like that they're trying to market to me. It's that this is incoherent. I'm like, no, I thought this made sense. This is actually pretty. Maybe it's even too simple at times, but it's pretty easy to explain.
Yeah.
So here's a test, Lindsay. Hey, James, Lindsay, do you think white people exist? What do you mean by wrong? Wrong. Do you think white people exist, and do you think they at least have a right to self-determination? Europeans in the sense of Europeans. Let's define. It's easy to define white guys. It's actually really fucking easy to define what white is. So he's like, well, I mean, this is how can you no. Just, the new thing is to sell you on the complexity of your own beliefs. That's the trick that they're doing, which requires him to go on to shows and act confused. So he's got to be a dummy. He's got to walk into a room and be the stupidest faggot in the room by saying, I don't know what any of this is. I can't even read. It's like, what is this your career? Is this your career? Your job is to not know what things are and say like, well, fucking Stalin wore pants. You know who also wore pants? Hitler. You know who also wore pants? Donald Trump. So, woke.
Different villains, different characters, same framework, same exact
exactly. So it's like an operating system running different programs. So the CRT people have, the whiteness is the problem program. The Marxists have the capitalism is the program part is the program, and the program for a lot of the woke right guys is that there's a post-war hegemony that has excluded true conservatives, who most of whom happen to hate Israel.
He's actually really good at summarizing.
He's very good at summarizing into a thing that I think when most people hear that, they say, oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
Like, well, what part of that is fake? Is that
Thanks
there's a post-war
for the
consensus?
free advertising, Jimmy.
These people hate capitalism. These people just think that post-World War II, there was an American hegemony that spread out throughout the Western world and was normalizing certain things and certain behaviors that you can and can't talk about. I'm like, yeah, is that... I noticed that you added more detail to
Yeah, I was
this
gonna
one
say,
than the other
like,
ones.
you really had to explain that one because it's quite nuanced and specific, and it's something that is observably true and provably true.
P. Angelo Papa says he only owns one Blazer sport jacket. It's navy blue. Prove me wrong. I guess, and that was at the dry cleaners, and here he is.
Yep.
Here's the thing: there's so many podcasts out there. I look at this podcast; it's Amy's house. You just put up a fucking curtain, and you're in your. And these, imagine living this life. We do a show, but you know, it's got a joie de vivre.
Yeah.
I think people dig it. Imagine sitting in a room with gray curtains. It's got some irreverent name. It's like, today we're talking to James Lindsay, and I have to. You know what? That's a really good point. You'll never catch me saying someone's got a good point when I'm talking to them. I'm gonna shut up.
You think it's because we don't do it on camera? You think if we were on camera, it'd be too much like real life, and we'd have to like be polite?
Like, if you saw what we were doing on camera, because that's the end goal of the show, right? It's to have a Tim Pool style studio, have a line of smokers along the side.
I
of
think
it,
we should
skate
do it.
park.
Should do it in a public art gallery. You and I stand on a dais under a spotlight, and everyone is around us, and we're addressing no one in particular, like circling each other while we talk about.
Here's the thing. He's saying this as if he's trying to say a dumb idea. That's a really cool idea.
It is now that I've said it, I actually do think we should do it. Yeah,
that would be fucking awesome. But to your point, what am I doing when I'm interviewing people? I'm looking at the camera. I'm doing the cuckoo gesture. I'm doing the whack off gesture with the other hand too. Just right in their presence. Larger Potato says the program for real racists is deluge torrent clients. He's talking about the operating system. It's funny because he nailed the torrent client that I use. And I don't have the clip in front of me, but yeah, he was going on Jordan Peterson saying that, trying to explain what woke is. And he's been doing this for months, by the way. He's been shopping around woke right. And I don't have any evidence of this, but I noticed certain trends and certain things that kick off in the discourse. And I'm like, this is you trying to have a job. Someone said to you, this is your thing now. Go out there. You can have this career because you don't have another career. What do you do?
Yeah.
What's your skill?
Yeah.
You don't know how to sharpen a fucking pencil. So he's imprisoned by this, and he's got to like shuck and jive, saying like, have you ever noticed that people who complain about things have two arms? Suspicious. Like, they just nonsense.
We often come back to this when we talk about these people and their motivations. Like, it's not so much, you know, it's not so much is he being pushed from behind to do this. It's how could he not be pushed from behind? Like, anybody, if we've said this so many times, anybody at this position who has this much of a following, not even that people follow him because they like him, but like he's a fucking lol cow almost at this point. But he has cachet. And when you have that much cachet, even as a lol cow, somebody somewhere is poking you from behind for better or worse. Whether they're paying you or they're blackmailing you, somebody's doing something. There's no way that this fucking guy, when he shuts the laptop down and goes home, that he isn't dealing with a bunch of this, either people paying him or blackmailing him or threatening him to do whatever the fuck this retarded shit that he's doing. And as you said, it's a script and it's recent. Like he suddenly has become completely one note and it's all woke right. So
you know what? I saw, I don't have this pulled up, so I can't pull it up. So you're just going to take my word for it. There's a bunch of chat leaks that came out from the American Communist Party. And there was an overlap between the American Communist Party and sort of the Peter Thiel right and some other sectors that we've been aware of. The Hegelian e-girls, if you heard about that. We covered that on the Real Secret Coffee.
None of whom were actually right-wing, by the way.
Yeah, sort of like this New York hipster, the Red Scare girls are in there too. And what I noticed was when we talk about the the BAP Talmudic Network or the Peter Thiel Network. They've denied that exists. They've denied it exists forever. And within these chat leaks I saw, it was the first time I saw one of the girls, her name was Anna, admitting that Peter Thiel was giving out grants to people, individuals. And I'd heard people allude to before, like people have been flown out to see Peter Thiel at his house, and they'll say, "Oh, but he never gave me money. He never cut me a check." But, he just flew me out to his fucking orgy pad, where the fuck it is, just a place where he stands naked in the center of a room and he just hydrates and dolphins are sacrificed around him and whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking microchips are put under his eyeballs, whatever fucking shit he's up to. But they'll say, "Oh, he never cut a check to me," but I'd seen evidence of people saying that they do, and it's probably a small grant or it's some other patronage scheme. And like I've heard, as I've been talking to people and paying attention, I've noticed that a lot of the big names you've heard about have patrons in some form or another. And it's just people, I don't know exactly how much money they all get, but it's usually enough to keep them afloat, just to keep them going at least.
Of course.
And so
how do we square the circle of the economy is fucked and all of us are being persecuted, and yet certain members, specifically the ones that showed up recently, apparently are funded enough that they can do this shit full time with a staff?
And this is what we were getting to. And again, we covered this on the Paywall show, going through the big leaks of the US aid, showing how money flows between NGOs, and some of them were leftist and progressive, but it was giving us the framework to show how money tends to flow from the founder into this black box of an organization that might be worth billions of dollars that's divided up and given to these other organizations. So it's never a one-to-one handoff. But I've come to understand that anyone big at all is funded by someone. It's almost never organic. And there's another, let me see if I could pull this up. I responded or I retweeted this at one point. It was saying that all the biggest streamers like Mr. Beast, and I'm not plugged into that space that much, but all these biggest names are part of the exact same agency.
Yes.
And that exact same organization. And so I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't surprise me, because when I was working in agencies in Toronto, I was aware that they had influencer marketing agencies, but I just thought, oh, maybe each one has their own agency or crew. But no, it actually turns out that they're all fucking puppets. It turns out that these talentless hacks are no different than the wonks on TV.
If that whole sector of the industry is just influence peddling, then why wouldn't it rapidly just become a monopoly more than any other industry, right? If the whole thing is actually just about networking and manipulation and influence, then you would think that the best people at networking and manipulation and influence would rapidly just create an influence network monopoly, more so than any other type of industry. Actually, it probably formed within 3 years. So
yeah,
of course
this was pulled from 4chan thread here, but I'll just read it here. A reminder that almost every popular streaming influencer is a product of the same shady agency, which promptly hit its talent roster when noticers uncovered it as another perception management tool using the illusion of independent media to overwrite reality. And here's some names: Hassan Piker, Nico Lull. I know some of these names now that I mentioned it. This organization is called.
Would you say Asmongold is part of it at the top there?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think Asmund, why not?
Why not? Why not?
Hey, some of these guys I like.
Kosher, right.
Yeah, some of these guys I might like more than others, but it wouldn't surprise me that, would it really surprise anyone that these people whose job it is to just sit in front of a computer, never leave, and do very basic commentary on things that anyone can do for free, but it's just the amount they do it. It's like, how could you make a living on that, really?
It's world painter. It's not about creating a specific thing. It's about wiping the slate clean and then using a giant brush to paint NPCs and narratives on both sides of every issue constantly, but you control the ebb and flow of the entire thing. Every color, every shade, every angle of it is all under the same umbrella.
By the way, we have a creator that I recently just became aware of, Atomic Shaman TTS. I did a video on that thread. I think I've seen him. There's been other people who've done content on this. We're just dipping our toe into that water right now, but I'm using that in service of a larger point that I don't think there's a way to make it in this space unless you've got a whale behind you, unless you've got some benefactor, and maybe it's not even that much. Maybe it's just, again, to keep you afloat. But I mean, I'm not, I don't even want to name any names, but I know for a fact there's a couple big ones I've heard of. And you're wondering, well, why are they so, how is it that people can live on this? But that's how. It's just like when we were talking about news publications. Like, how actually does the New York Times or Newsweek or Time Magazine stay afloat? And it's actually not because of subscriptions. That's a drop in the bucket. It's
you, the taxpayer, the inflation respecter, is the one paying for it. Yeah,
and also private investors. It was more I'm getting at. Like, it's just these old dynastic families. It's the Koch brothers just saying, "Here's 10 million. Keep doing what you're doing, kid. Slap on the ass." That's it. But you either need to accept that or you need to seek that out. And there's a lot of people who go out and seek that out. They're looking for a sugar daddy. And you have to ask yourself, is that worth it? Because I think there's a myth that you can make it really big in the space without doing that. None of these people are their own bosses at that point.
Yeah.
So Atomic Shaman, there's no organic rise to fame. It's all backed by an agency. Absolutely. And I've said this story before, but I'll repeat it now to add some context for people who don't know. I was at an agency in Toronto. It was a branding agency, and I was heading up the influencer department because we had a brand and we were aware that it was a makeup brand. And if you're in fashion or makeup, that's a whole other universe. A lot of guys don't understand how any of that works, but it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And so if you're into makeup, you really rely on these makeup influencers, and there's so many of them. And a lot of them are just young girls. And so you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go to this one, and I got in touch with her, and it's like, oh, talk to the agency. So I go to the agency, and they've got like 5,000 clients at that agency, and they're all just girls in front of their webcams. And I'm like, okay, so here's what we'll pay. How do you want to do this? I can work with her. We can do a script. We're doing a giveaway. That's all we're doing. Hey, we'll give you some free product, do a giveaway, say some stuff. I'll workshop it with her. And they said, no, don't worry about it. Just give her the script. She'll say whatever you want. And I said, are you sure? Because to me, it would make sense that we partner with them and they put it in their own voice. They know their eyes. They said, no, don't worry. They're, like, basically, they're meat sacks that we farm out. And they said, oh, okay. And so I always have that in the back of my mind.
They are girls, though, so of course they are.
Well, this was even going up to like their 30s, 40s.
Still.
This is anytime you've got to market a health food product to one of these mommy bloggers. Same fucking thing. Any 45-year-old woman who's I got like tuplets, and here's what I do, so my ass doesn't fall off. Whatever it is, I don't know what women complain about. I don't know what I don't know what a woman's body is.
Yeah.
You know, here's the fucking cream I put on my nose so my ass cheeks stop flapping together. It sounds like a round of applause whenever I'm walking down the street. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's a feature on the book. This is the thing, like, women want to fix that. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why women are so against arm fat. I don't even notice. It's like painting your toenails. Like, who's this for?
Yeah.
You got the standing ovation ass going. I'm like, that's something other girls complain about. It's not something guys complain about. For us, hey, you wait till you're a bit older. A lot of guys are into that, by the way. And you're putting creams all over your face to stop that. It's a sickness. Yeah. It's a sickness called being a lady. I don't know what we're talking about. Talking about influencers.
Girls are gross.
Talking about Mr. Beast. Look at that. I hate his face. I hate his face.
It's the worst. That's got to be part of it. That they chose him. Look at the half-closed eyelids and the awful teeth and smile. But he always looks like that.
Look how dead his eyes are.
Have you seen him talk? Yeah. I've seen an interview with him where he seemed to be breaking character, and he almost seemed like a normal dude. It's as if he has a character which is a retard, like a broken man. I don't know.
Because you look at that face, and you say, was it worth it? Because he's at the level of fit. Because you got to remember, when you're really successful at something, doesn't matter what it is, that's the thing that you're going to be known for. That's what's going to be in your obituary. That's what your legacy is going to be. And sometimes you only got one shot, unless you start over, I guess. But this is it, Mr. Beast. This is what's going to be on your Wikipedia, and you're the biggest guy. But what do? Well, your thing is that you get 1,000 people together to hop on one leg, and you stand there and go, yippee. You do bing, bing, wahoo, but with paperclip people.
Yeah.
And that's it. So is that good? Your dream, the greatest tragedy in life, the two great tragedies, never getting what you want and getting it. Is this what? Who wants this? Do kids want to do this? Do kids want to be Mr. Beast? I don't think so. I think maybe they want to be a fireman. I think maybe they want to be a shark. My son, he wants to be a triceratops. That's a smart pick.
Nice.
One day it's a triceratops. The other day it's an excavator. Those are two good options for him.
They're great. They're great.
You know what he doesn't want to be? This fucking dead-eyed ghoul. I don't care how many billions of dollars he's got. He can't fix those teeth. Look, he's got like one tooth here, then going into a split tooth.
I can fix the teeth. I'm gonna put him. We're gonna bring him to my basement, and we'll fix him. We're gonna fix him up.
You know what I think? I think he enjoys sexually subjecting us to his face. Look at that. There's no reason that mouth should be.
His kink is that he looks so fucking gross, and he knows that millions of people have to look at his gross fucking face every day. Oh no, it's true.
Look at the eyebrows are kind of like horny eyebrows too.
Oh, it's so bad, man.
This
and the
face,
little bit of hair coming in from the top. Can you just change it? Just change the screen. I can't. I'm looking away. God damn.
The face that sideways 1,000 chips. We have a question here. Bill Wilson, Dimes tell Prude and Geo to kiss and make up so we could have DA back. He's referring to Digital Archipelago. Vingul asks something happened to DA boys. For what it's worth, I know Prudential is on a break. I think he started his own streaming show called Live from the Pond. Where I left it, I was on the final episode of Digital Archipelago. But I've talked to Geo since then. In fact, him and I were both on a show that's not live yet. It was on for Kruptos' channel. That's going to be his special 100 episode blowout. And so everyone's good as far as I know. I don't think they are upset or at each other. I see them talk all the time, but I'm not sure about the future of that particular show. I will say though that we shouldn't be upset if and when shows end. You know what I mean? Because we've gone on for quite some time, but I don't think we're going to do Blood Satellite forever. And
stop. This could be the last episode.
It could be. I've every few months or so, full disclosure, I take a hard look at this and say, do I still want to do this anymore? Because truth be told, I've accomplished a lot of what I wanted to accomplish with the show and the connections and going on certain interview shows and meeting people and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I do it because I like doing it. And every time I want to not do it, I find something I desperately want to make an episode about. Yeah, and I'm back in. So we're only here because we like doing it. But if you don't like doing it, or it just becomes a chore, you should stop. Because most shows should just be.
We don't get paid for this. It's not a job. We have real jobs and lives that have nothing to do with this. So yeah, you're right. We do this because we like it. But I can't imagine for guys that did this as for a living. I guess they're getting Peter Thiel money, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever accept any money. I like being broke at this point. I like being fucked up. I like having a clown car. I like being sick and tired all the time. I don't want to know what it's like when someone says, "Hey, here, kid, good take. Here's $15,000." I don't like that. You know what? I would rather sell my soul incrementally.
Meet me around back.
It's like giving blood. You can give blood incrementally. That's what having a job is. That's what having clients is. But if someone just swaps your blood in with something purple, that's not good, even if it's better. No. I'm gonna give away parts of myself for the rest of my life because that's what men do. We don't take payday. If I get a payday, it's because I'm gambling. If I get a payday, it's because I was wildly irresponsible.
Because you fucked it up. Yeah.
When I get that payday, it's because I made my money back because I just lost it last week. And but here's the problem. Now I'm just back to net zero. I'm back It's a balance, and that's you don't feel like you want anything. Do you want to just live at zero, or do you want to double down? You want to put it all on red.
Yeah. I do actually.
You can tell I never gamble because I got a moron's romanticism about it. Like, wouldn't it be cool to lose everything? Would it be cool just to like lose your house and then you gotta go cry? You guys like that movie Lock, where you just gotta have the worst call of your life? I'm gonna call my wife, and the good scenario is that she divorces me. The bad scenario is that she stays with me and forgives me, and then the mob breaks my legs in front of her. Ooh, that's not good. That's not a good ending. Oh, Vingle says purple. That's Imperial blood. I don't know if this is some kind of fucking 40K thing.
Oblivion.
Hey kids, good take. Here's $15,000. Again, another moron opinion coming from me, where I'm like, I assume that's where it is. Like, hey, good take. Here's a new hat. Here's a new pair of shoes. And I'm giving them a cool Humphrey Bogart, 1927 accent. It would be 1,000 times more Jewish and 200,000 times gayer. That's the thing. Like, every time you hear a patron, I'm like, what if it's a cool guy? If there's like a cool guy who wants to give me money, no, it's going to be a gay Jew who wants to give you money. And then you're supposed to be like, yep, nothing's going to happen now. This is normal. He's a normal guy. That's a normal thing for a billionaire to want to do, is to give $15,000 to a fucking retard, insane man like me.
No strings attached. This will never come back to bite me in the ass ever. I will never be pressured into. Yeah.
This is why like the terminally online and unforgivably unemployed people who think they can control the world in their space think of that, yeah, maybe I should get like rich off my Substack, and I'm just waiting for someone to figure it out, and I deserve this. It's the belief that you deserve anything for this, and it's not just another war you're fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a payday for us anywhere. I think it's gonna get incrementally better, and then hopefully we die.
There's paydays for you and I, but it has nothing to do with Blood Satellite, and it's not even stuff we talk about. So.
Yeah, it's true. It's just us like starting businesses, or again, gambling,
sailing a yacht around the world,
hoping that when your boomer relatives die, they haven't squandered everything on cruises.
Mm-hmm.
So we have not gotten to a single. Oh my God, we're at an hour 22. Jesus Christ.
Do we have anything planned for this episode?
I don't have a lot planned for this episode. I wanted to talk. Speaking of this, actually, this segues perfectly on purpose into something I wanted to talk about, because you know me, I'm at an age where I only like simple pleasures. There's so few pleasures in life, you understand.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at a video here titled "Being a YouTuber Bankrupted Me" by Innuendo Studios. Just under 200,000 views. This guy's got 500,000 subscribers. I've seen some videos that he's produced, and he's a leftist type guy. He's trying to explain things on the right for people. I guess he's been on YouTube for quite some time. And this is just what we were talking about from the other perspective. What is it like for the guy who's trying to do this as a job? Would you like to see what he's got to say, Judas?
Yeah.
And by the way, have you
actually.
Have you heard about this guy before?
Somebody linked this video the other day and I didn't watch it, but no.
So there's one thing I like, these simple pleasures of mine. I love it. Let everyone say it with me. We love people in a financial bind. Let's see what he's got to say here.
Hey everyone, Ian from Innuendo Studios here. Here to let you know that for the time being, Innuendo Studios is taking a break. I'm not sure for how long, and there's a chance it might be permanent. Well, you've seen the title of the video.
I can't get in the mindset of someone who makes a sad video. You know what I mean?
He wants money. He has a Patreon and he wants people to donate.
Yeah.
Like right out of the gate, that's what this is.
Just, you're staring at the camera, shoulder slouch, and you start with a sigh. You go, I didn't want to make this video. Then there's a cut because of course there's a cut because you have to let people know you sat in your editor's suite and made this into something, right?
Thanks.
So that is not hyperbole. It's not strictly speaking true. Like bankruptcy is only one of several options right now, but it is a very real and likely possibility.
Things a bankrupt man says. You're declaring bankruptcy. You say, well, bankruptcy is one of the options. No, if you're talking about it, it's probably the only one.
Yeah.
I've been saying that doing this job is making ends meet for a while, and it has in the sense that most months I end with my bank account at least nominally in the positive. Not all, but most. But if
what does
making
nominally
ends meet
mean to you, dude?
No, my bank account
nominally
is
in the positive. How can you be nominally in? What do you? And we're positive, but in name only. What?
He posted his resume. Where is his Patreon? Okay, he set up a GoFundMe. You made a good point here.
There you go.
So help Ian with his debt. Okay, of course he raised $155,000.
Oh my God! Fuck this guy. We should hunt him for sport. Let's hunt this guy.
Support me on Patreon. What's he getting? So he's getting just under $10,000 a month.
So you got 10 grand a month on Patreon, and 155 on GoFundMe. Guys, I'm bankrupt. I'm childless and don't have a wife.
I'm trying to see. Okay,
filming.
Sorry, I think you cut out there a little bit.
I'm sorry. Is it?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Let me see. Let's see what types of videos he's producing that he went bankrupt over. This is the alt-right playbook. I just picked a random one just to see what he does.
You're having a discussion with a coworker about healthcare. Actually, let's go ahead and drop the pretense. You're having a discussion about trans healthcare.
By the way, this sounds like a trans person. It might be Philosophy Tube, but I can just tell from the voice this is a tranny.
It says right there, it's Philosophy Tube at the top.
Oh, I didn't know if that was like I don't know what that meant.
Straight up.
He says puberty blockers should be banned because some study said they're dangerous. And you're a thoughtful...
So, okay, I just wanted to give you a sense of the production value in this because you're thinking, okay, $10 a month, how much must he invest in producing these videos? And I'm not trying to toot my own dick here, but the videos that we do for Blood Salad look like cinema. They look like Kino compared to this.
Yeah.
And we're not spending an arm and a leg producing these things. So, and I'm sure shit not making $10,000 here. So let me just, where the fuck did I have him? Here we go.
Supposed to entail things like being able to settle up your credit card debt or settle up personal loans you take from friends and loved ones, or being able to pay the 30% in taxes that freelancers own every April.
Okay, the 30% in taxes that freelancers own.
Oh, I think you might have meant to say oh.
Oh, 30 freelancers pay 30%. That doesn't sound right, and I've been a freelancer before in Canada.
Yeah.
Well,
you'd pay even more in Canada, but
you don't pay 30%.
30%.
Do you like?
Depends. It depends what bracket you're in. Because if he's pulling that much money, it sounds like he's pulling something like $300,000 to $400,000 US a year. Yeah, you'll pay 30%. Sorry, if you're Canadian, I don't fucking know about the state. In Canada, if you're making $400K a year as a small business, as a sole proprietor, you'll easily pay 40-50%.
I should rephrase what I'm saying though. I'm not confused about the tax rate. It was more that, yeah, they build in tax to whatever the rate is, but it's not like the fact that you pay 30% means that you'd be paying an exorbitant amount more than anyone else. Like you pay tax, but your clippers shouldn't be charging you $5,000 a month, or you know what I mean? Like you can be paying people like a couple $100, and then they will pay the 30% tax on that. You see,
also, part of running a business is your tax is known in advance, and you've included it in your business plan.
Yeah, it's all built in.
It's all built in. So you shouldn't be surprised every month on the 30th by the tax for years. He is a left winger, I guess.
Yeah. So
full account. I have been running this channel at a loss for 7 years.
So stop.
And
see, again, I don't understand how you can be running at a loss when you're getting
hundreds of thousands of dollars US a year.
for a YouTube channel where there's clearly no production. Like Stefan Molyneux has more production value than this guy, and I don't think he's been hemorrhaging money this entire time.
You know what? I feel like we've been got. I think this is a work. I think he's just saying all of this to get money because we're examining it as if it's true. I can't believe either this guy is the dumbest man to ever live, or this is a work to get money on.
Just to address this, Red Green Nationalism says you pay once a year instead of off every paycheck. Well, yes, but basically when you freelance, because this is what me and my wife do. We have several clients. We have to pay our own taxes. We have an accountant that we deal with every year. And so every invoice we send, we take the tax and put it aside in a savings account.
Right.
Then at the end of the tax year, you need to pay that. And then once you do that, that's where write-offs come in, where you can actually chip away at that. And I'm telling people things they might already know, but
he's American though, isn't he?
I think so.
Like I know for us, we have it set up. I know you can do monthly, annually, or quarterly. We have it set up for quarterly for HST, but income tax is yearly. So I don't know. We'll do HST submissions quarterly, but I can't. Is he talking about what tax is there in the States on what he does? I don't understand.
So just to let people know, when I'm relishing in his sadness and I'm cheerleading his decrepitude, it's because this is either the dumbest motherfucker you've ever met in your life, or he's lying and he's manipulating you to get more money, which worked because he got $155,000 free and clear. And the reason is, he'll get to in a second, is just because he didn't pay his taxes for 7 years. He just didn't. Who could have thunk it? A leftist who doesn't know how to pay taxes.
Between back taxes I owe the government, a maxed out credit card that is in collections, and money I owe to a few people who've bailed me out, I have total accumulated debt that is pushing $100,000. And
we're not going to watch this entire thing, but to me, this is the same level of dignity as beckoning for an investor. It's coming in hat in hand saying, like, I can't pay my credit card bill and my dog's dying and I don't know what taxes are. I just haven't been paying them, and now they're mad at me and everyone's mad at me and I don't know what to do. Like, look at this. Yes, his grift worked. Yes. However, it came at the expense of your manhood. It came at the expense of your dignity. Another guy with not the shoulders for a t-shirt subjecting us to that. We got to get shoulder pads on these faggots.
Yeah.
But it would render my soul if I had to do this, even if it worked, because of course it's going to work. You're getting a bunch of pay pigs to squeal. It's not the hardest thing in the world to do, but I don't know. It's just, is this the life you want to live? I guess it's but so just to say, everyone should be drinking his tears. I don't care if they're fake, because even crying fake tears is fueled by the real internal tears.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say I'm perfect at managing money. There wasn't a life I could have been living these past 7 years where I would have earned $100,000 more than I did. So, backers on Patreon already know about this. When I told them,
can you stop a second,
I told the people who pay me first.
Yeah, the framing though, he's like, look, I'm not the worst or the best at managing money, but there's no way I could have earned 100,000 more. Okay, fair. I mean, I would say that too. Like, I'm at the max of what I can possibly earn. It's the nature of the economy. But is there a way you could have spent less? Because if you're pulling in hundreds of thousands of US dollars a year and you don't have a dependent family, there's probably a way you could have spent less. I'm a guy who spends very little. I think a lot of us, especially in Canada, are. And seeing this shit, seeing these fat fucking losers complain about not being, how do you even get $100,000 in debt? How do you not stop at $10,000 and re-examine your budget?
It's like, well, I gotta get a job. Like, this is bad. I got $10,000. Also, I reject his claim. It's like, I'm not the best. I'm not the worst. I'm like, no, you're the worst.
Yeah.
If you end up $100,000 in debt, you need to sit there, look yourself in the mirror, and say, I'm really bad with money. How did I let this happen? Like, that's the come to Jesus moment.
Bill Wilson nailed it though. He spent $100,000 on failed Turkish hair plugs. Yes.
Well, also, like, DSP is the patron saint of these guys, Darkside Phil.
Yeah.
Who seems to be trucking along, even though he has invested, I think, $100,000 into a wrestling gambling game, like a trading card app. I'm not making this up. There's a lot of DSP lore. This is like one of the OG lol cows out there. He's so big and infamous that I can't even look at him for any real length of time. Otherwise, I start to get mad. And that's when you should walk away, when you're looking at lol cows and you want to just reach through the screen and choke them because they're actually just reprehensible people. He's a reprehensible guy. But like, yeah, he gets all this money. He's supported. He begs for money. And he's just a gambling addict in a non-cool gambler's game.
Yeah.
Which is like Hulk Hogan trading cards on your phone. You know what I mean? Like if it was just baseball cards, like, okay, well, you know, it's not my thing, but I guess I can understand that. Maybe there's some history there, a collector's appeal. It was like, no. This was designed to extract capital from retards, and you're keeping this company alive. Like this company is probably like two guys, and if you stop paying them, this app stops existing.
Yeah.
Framed as, you know, I'm going to probably do some kind of fundraiser or do a Patreon relaunch. There's a bunch of stuff I've been doing over on Patreon that I still hadn't even like announced here on YouTube yet, but I just can't take it anymore. This is just a lot of strain to put on me and to put on my family. And I've felt.
See, at no point so far, and maybe we need to stop soon, but he's not saying I fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just he's acting like it's a set of circumstances that he felt like, well, you know, I was making a lot of money, and then I beefed it. And it's not fair that I'm this stressed. Your wig is peeled back by the audacity of this statement.
Yeah.
And to me, I have a hard time wrapping my head around the people who are not viscerally upset at seeing this. A guy who's just like, well, I don't know how it happened. I guess maybe declare bankruptcy. I was making $10,000 a month, and you know, it's no ticky, no shirty. So what? What the fuck are you talking about, you fucking loser?
Felt for a long time that like I'm on the verge of, you know, kind of like making it. Like I've been dancing around the periphery for a while. You know, back in 2020.
This is an interesting point, making it. So he's got 500,000 subscribers. Like that's
it. That's it.
What is making it? Is that Mr. Beast? Is he saying?
Did you think you're going to be the biggest account on YouTube? Because you're definitely in the top 1% if you have 500K. What is making it? That's what I mean. Like you have that much income, you do fuck all, your videos suck, and you still you really are the dumbest man to ever live.
You spent this whole time churning out content that's not visually stimulating, it's slop, and then you ended up bankrupt over it. It's the perfect ending. It's the perfect ending to guys like this, because like we were just talking about, the only people that seem to make it are the ones who have the sugar daddy, and he never had one. He tried to do it off of revenue, but this is what you deserve. You create garbage content because you're a moron, you're a dum-dum, so you don't know how to handle money, and maybe you got lucky by having the right voice at the right time, and you got into the rhythm of the algorithm, and it worked. But here's the thing. You can't beat your own genetics. You can't beat your own IQ. You were never a man who should have $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
It's like giving $1,000 to a homeless person. All you have done is drive your family into an early grave. You should have been, if this were the 70s, you'd be in a factory. And if you had any racial consciousness, you would say, I'm not doing that because of Mexicans. Whatever, right? But he can never admit to that. So he's just got to be like, well, you know, I'm a leftist, but I didn't know what taxes were. And, you know, I get paid a lot of money, but apparently money doesn't matter. Imagine a leftist saying that. Like, it turns out $100,000 didn't make my life better, and it made it worse. You see, like, economically, this is such an amazing case study. Sorry, I think I cut you off here.
No, I'm just laughing.
Oh, yeah. Red Green Nationalist, Jeremy the Quartering and his failed coffee grift. Yes, there's Jeremy Hambley of the Quartering fame. The guy who makes like 17 videos a day. Just, this is the woke at work. You know, he tried to launch a coffee company, and he according to him, he's like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and he's desperate to sell this coffee.
That makes sense.
And well, here's the thing: if I look at what he did, so I've got some experience in this because I've helped.
You don't have that much experience at being a retard, though. That's the problem.
But that's the thing, like I look at the coffee, I'm like, well, Jeremy, did you go down to Colombia or wherever and have a look at the supplier or the farmer? No, you didn't. What you did was what a lot of people do is you found a white label coffee supplier. That's what like Black Rifle, a lot of these guys do, I'm pretty sure. It's like you find a farm that says, okay, hey, you want coffee? We'll package it for you. Send us your label. We'll label it for you. You pay us a fee. We'll ship it to you. Bada bing, bada boom. A lot of the same coffees out there. By the way, this is why the liquor market survives, because there's actors and musicians who start their own. They call them white label brands. Like George Clooney has one. He's got like a Scotch. He just went to a distillery and says, hey, or they come out to him and say, hey, we're a struggling alcohol distillery. Do you want to have your own Scotch? They all do. They all want a vanity alcohol. And so, it's not the hardest thing to do in the world. It's not, manipulative in any sense. It's fine, whatever. But I'm looking at that. I'm like, how do you spend that much money on this? Because I know about roughly what it costs per package of coffee, because I've done some work in the tea space and I've done some work in other, consumer packaged goods brands. I'm like, you need to really, really fuck up to spend this much time, get into this much debt and be selling nothing. Because it sounds like he sold no coffee.
Yeah.
Like, how do you actually? Here's the thing. Like,
was he trying to sell the coffee on YouTube? Like, he didn't even bother trying to get like retailers to carry it.
I think so, but he's got a big audience. So I'm like, if you put $20,000 aside and just throw that into advertising, like you'll get there. Like honestly, like if you're on Amazon, hey, I know Amazon's hard. If you put $20,000 into Amazon ads, you will be like top of the pile of a niche of some kind pretty fast. You can if you've got that much money to spend, but he didn't. So like this guy, professionally, I'm looking at like I don't really understand the mathematics of how you fuck up this bad unless it's on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, are you actually? So for Jeremy Hamley, I would charge him like, you must have been very aggressively working to tank this coffee brand, or someone lied to you. But there's another story here. Anyway, we've gone off track. So we're talking about, Gretzky wine is just Peller States wine. Yeah, exactly. And again, I don't begrudge any of them, because who doesn't want their own wine? Who doesn't want their own Scotch? Fucking comedians do it now to get their own vodka.
Gretzky wine is in the LCBO. You can go and buy a bottle, and people do. So it works, right? But apparently with fucking...
Red Green says his entire business is drop shipping. Yeah, and there's a way to do it right. Like if you... Sorry, I'm not trying to do a ad workshop here, but there's...
Ad church.
This is basic stuff. Like if you were to... If any of you listening were to launch a brand of anything, maybe it's a toy company, maybe you're selling roof shingles online. I don't know what it is, but I bet you would say, golly, I need a marketing plan. I've never written a marketing plan before, but it sounds like something you would need, right? Because you can't just go there with your dick flapping in the wind, just launching a business. But it seems that he never thought about that. So I'm like, is this money laundering? Like, what is going on here? You need to be powerfully stupid.
Bill Wilson there says $50K on furry vor commissions, $20K on weed, and $30K on sex pest hush money. That's what happened.
There would be, again, more dignity in that than start a coffee brand. Like, to me, I would rather you have a terminally embarrassing addiction than to just fumble the ball, professionally like this. Like, I'd rather you just be smoking meth.
Yeah.
Then say, you know what the world needs is I got my own vodka. Do ya? You got your own whiskey? You always wanted to have one? Just like the Trailer Park Boys, they had their own whiskey. Do ya? Why? This is back when I was drinking. I was a whiskey drinker, I was a rye drinker in bourbon. And like the Trailer Park Boys had their rye on the shelf. Like, why? What do we? It tastes like every other fucking rye. You know what I mean? And I say this as a guy who's had a couple of drinks of rye before. I'm like, but why'd you do this? This There's no passion here. It's just, I want it. Why? It's not even, you should be selling rum. Julian drinks rum and Cokes. You know what I mean? Just a complete and utter misfire. You should be selling like Bubbles kitty litter. What the fuck are you doing with just a Canadian guy starting a whiskey? Whatever. I'm getting too deep into this. We haven't talked about Alberta at all, by the way.
Oh, geez.
Times just leaked a Grift Academy lesson on accident. Yeah. It's like, there's lots of ways people just, waste their money on vanity. But Jeremy Hambley, apparently he desperately needed this to work.
Right before COVID happened, like the numbers.
Enough of this fucking faggot. So, yeah, what I was going to do actually, before we go, we got to talk about the Alberta thing.
Yeah.
So we're not liars.
All right.
I don't even know, because I made the title of this first, and then I realized I didn't have too much to say about it. But we're in it now. Let me ask you. We've been talking about this quite a bit, just in the news and whatnot. What do you think about? And you know what? You and I talked about this a while ago, because there was, where was it? Here, the Alberta 51 project, I believe, was it. I got it pulled up on screen right now. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Alberta for the 51st state. We covered this on a live stream, and we learned that the guy who runs it lives in America. He's an American.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just this odd thing. Like, it seemed like there's money changing hands to make the, and I've seen interviews with him, and he doesn't do a terribly good job on them. It's just this embarrassment. It was this little rinky-dink movement, just one guy. But it's turned into this other thing after Mark Carney was elected. And there's all these creators, influencers on the, not far right, but not even necessarily conservative, because they're pretty irreverent people, but they were championing Pierre Poilievre and saying that anyone who votes for the People's Party of Canada is wasting their vote and siphoning energy off of the Conservative Party. After Carney won, a lot of them switched right into Alberta should separate.
Yeah.
So what do you think about all this? Just quickly.
Just about Alberta separating?
Yeah.
Because I think I like the Alberta sovereignty thing. There's different angles to it. I don't know from 1 minute to the next when you hear somebody talking about it, what they're talking about. Because like you said, there's the 51st state gaze, because that's the dumbest fucking thing. But then there's people who are just saying generally sovereignty, like, oh, we can become an independent state. That's dumb and will never happen. But I get it. Like, from a principled standpoint, yes, you deserve that. It won't happen, and it would be a disaster. But I get it. I understand why you'd want that. And then there's just them saying, we want to rework our relationship with the federal government to the extent that we have more control over our resources in healthcare. Yeah, you must do that. There's no future without doing that. So, and you know what? I don't even know what's on that referendum. I don't know what's on the ballot. So maybe it's just, cut a couple of the strings to the Fed.
Yeah. I'm just reading here. An Alberta separatist group has released a proposed referendum question on sovereignty from Canada, saying they will push the premier for a vote as soon as this year. That is, if they can garner support enough through provincial residents. During a news conference on Monday, Jeffrey Rath, a lawyer at the Alberta Prosperity Project, pulled a blue provincial flag off an easel, revealing the question printed in large font. That's what you're seeing here. The question of Alberta separatism returned to the forefront of social debate after Premier Danielle Smith tabled legislation to reduce the threshold for a petition to trigger a referendum. So this is now a real thing, a serious thing, even if we don't take it terribly seriously. But it seems that it's not just this, again, small, kooky thing cooked up by some guy who lives in America.
Right, but my point is, what is actually being proposed on that referendum? What is the language in the referendum? Because if they're saying we should become America's 51st state, that's crazy, but I don't think they're saying that. And I don't know what they're saying, but it can't be that.
Let's see, residents of an independent Alberta, this is their promise anyway, independent Alberta would see oil and gas development double within 5 years, a free market, free trade agreement with the United States, interesting, and a flat 10% income and corporate tax while being able to keep their Canadian passports and Canada pension plan entitlements.
This is the dumbest thing. Who wrote this? Is Calgary Herald? This is what? How can you even say that? under like, well, you're going to break away from the country, but you're going to keep the currency. Okay, sure. And you're going to keep your passport. Okay, the federal government that you said fuck you, they're going to let you keep your passport. All right. Oh, and Trump's going to give you a free trade agreement. Meanwhile, he's tariffing the entire fucking planet. Okay, retard.
Because it'd be very easy to fall into the 51st state at that point.
What you're describing is 51st state. Yeah. You just, but you're not, because you get to keep your Canadian passport. But again, this is just media shit. None of this is true or will ever happen. This is retarded. This is a dumb article. I want to. So what I'm saying, what I'm interested in, is the referendum as a political device. If they're actually getting signatures, what does the fucking piece of paper say where somebody's signature is at the bottom? What does that say? Because I want to know what people are signing up for. Because are they signing up for, I get to keep my passport, but I get 5 times the oil money? Okay. But like, are you signing up for what? For what?
Yeah, because, and seeing this from Alberta's perspective too, let's make sure that gets a fair hearing here. A lot of Americans don't know this, but in Canada, we have something called equalization payments. So we used to know them as the haves versus the have-not provinces. So as far back as I can remember, Alberta has been a have province, which means that they generate a lot of revenue through oil and gas, and they would have to make payments every year out to other provinces that, for one reason or another, couldn't. And I know Quebec, even though it's not to the tune of $1 trillion or anything, but it's not nothing. It was billions of dollars, or millions, I believe.
It's about 20% of their total. Yeah, is the last time I remember.
So Quebec gets a fair amount. So does the East Coast, as far as I'm concerned. I think Ontario might even. Point being that from Alberta's perspective, they're saying, look, we're the only ones in the nation that seem to be pulling our own weight. Maybe we don't like having to pay out all these people that are constantly trying to barrage us with demands and subvert us, especially if, from what I've seen, the majority of that demographic in Alberta tends to be conservative, contrasted against Ontario, which is largely liberal. So they're saying, okay, we don't like this government, we feel at odds, and maybe we can stand on our own, at least more than, what, Saskatchewan? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's where they're coming from. I hear that, and I understand that. But I've also been hearing the same thing from Quebec for a long time. So again, are we saying that this is probably going to happen? I don't think so, practically. It sounds more like the beginnings of a movement right now. Like maybe, like, I don't know how many Albertans really want it. I guess we'll see with the referendum. But
to clarify, everything, all that shit about the transfer payments is absolutely justified, and I think Alberta should have sovereignty. I don't think Alberta deserves all the shit that they take, and I feel bad for them. I just don't think that realistically this is going to happen. And if these are the things that are being proposed on that ballot, I feel sorry for the dumb fucking boomers who are signing up for it, because you're not going to get what's on the tin. You're going to get something much, much worse than that. It's not like, realistically, these things that they're promising you cannot actually be delivered. But you do actually deserve sovereignty, and it is ridiculous that Quebec and Ontario, my province, take so much money from Alberta. Like, fuck that.
And we talk a lot about sovereignty on the show, about sovereignty of identity. And I would ask some of the people, because I think there's someone in our chat, this would be anonymous, this individual, who gives some interesting insight into this. So I think he might be more in tune with what they're saying. I'd be curious to hear if he or she, but probably he, thinks that the lion's share of people who are on board with this are just trying to take a swipe at the rest of the country, or do they actually believe that Albertans can stand as their own national identity? And I mean, really ask that as a tough question. Do some soul searching. Like, do I think that Quebec could probably stand on its own identity-wise? Maybe, but I don't know really what the Alberta identity is, and I'm not saying that in a disparaging way.
They're pretty distinct. I've spent some time with some Calgary guys, and like, I'm not just trying to say like, oh, they're like the new Paris or something, but they do have a distinct identity. But like, when you're saying that they want sovereignty, I don't think the question is about identity. It's about, like, as a sovereign nation, could they stand up to all of the outside influences? And if you just say categorically you're cutting them off from a larger whole, which is Canada, like Canada as a federal state, No, they don't. Like Canada can't even stand up against it. Canada is being buffeted around by the Chinese and the Indians and the Americans. How the fuck is Alberta going to stand up on its own? If anything, we need to find a way to be stronger as a nation. And like, I hate this because I hate the federal government. But realistically, if a Canadian identity is going to be around in 100 years, it's because we found a way to bind together to fuck the Americans in the ass. That's the only way to do it.
Here's an interesting post by Alberta Separation. Albertans already know Canada is an abusive confederation. That's why we will separate. There's an image.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So between 1988 and 2023, Canada spent nearly $544 billion on foreign oil imports, mainly to the East Coast. So to secure our energy and economic independence, Canada must build a new east to west pipeline. And I think that probably sits at the core of Alberta separatism. However, I'm not sure that sovereignty would make that case easier. Like there is a booming-ish oil industry, and they're saying we want more pipelines in Canada.
Yeah.
The Liberals don't want that, but
again,
that doesn't become easier if you
exactly.
separate.
That's what I'm saying. If you want an east-west pipeline, but you want sovereignty, well, the pipelines and the oil companies themselves, even if they're nominally Canadian, are all fucking American. Come on. So they're not going to actually be serving your interests. And like people are saying in the comments, this is just, if you think the immigration problem is bad now, imagine what happens when you become a client state, a little oil derrick for the Americans. It's going to be a million times worse. Your identity is going to be gone overnight. And I'm not trying to make hay out of everything that's happened over the last 100 years. You've definitely been mistreated. But I'm just saying, this isn't actually going to solve anything. It's going to make it worse. If you're isolated from the rest of Canada, you will become, people keep saying 51st state, but I keep saying you're going to become Puerto Rico. You become Puerto Rico North.
Yeah, well, that's what we've been saying for the longest time, that it seems that inevitably you will fall into the American sphere of influence, just like Canada has, despite its size and geographic landmass. So broken up, that seems to be a foregone conclusion. You have to ask, look, are you better under America? This is what we were talking about all those weeks ago. Like, should Canada be the 51st state? Would it be better? And we would say no, and almost by any metric except guns, I guess. But is the guns thing something we can change ourselves without putting, like, once Trump is gone, Trump will stop being president one day, and whoever the Democratic leader is, they get whatever fucking, vat they walk out of. Maybe we don't want that person in charge of us. Like, don't start thinking that Trump's going to be president forever, guys. Seriously, exactly. Everyone's caught up in the heat of the moment. Would you want to be the 51st state if Kamala Harris was in charge?
Yeah.
Because the Kamala Harris coming up next might be worse. And you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. We narrowed our view a lot recently by saying, well, we're going to be part of America once AOC's president. You want to be the 51st state with
That's
AOC
going to happen,
president?
by the way. That's a prediction.
Yeah. Everyone's talking Bernie Sanders. No, it's going to be way dumber than that.
It's AOC.
At the very least, Bernie Sanders, I think, believes in something. It's going to be like this, a fucking retarded bitch.
Yeah.
A retarded Mexican bitch.
The brown bitches addled by drugs is a rising voting bloc right now.
So Anonymous says the reality of the separation movement is it puts pressure on the Feds since the reform wing of the CPC is dead. If that's what it is, I agree with that. That's fine. Like, if this is just a political pressure movement, if it, sure. Hey, just to argue for what you want. If that's what it is, then wonderful. Then I'm on board. But maybe there's a different way to phrase it. It's saying, oh, we want to separate, so tell us how much you love us. Maybe that's what they're going for, right? What do you think about that?
Well, if that's the objective, if the whole point to this is to, like, that's kind of what I said 5 minutes ago, is that if the objective here is to rework the relationship with the rest of the country, but apply pressure on them like, hey, if you don't change this, we're going to leave, and thus things change and they don't leave, that's a coup. That's brilliant. Do it. That's what should happen. I hope that happens. I want that to happen. I'm just a little bit concerned about the people. It's not even concerned politically. I'm concerned about people who are buying into this and betting the farm that they're going to be Americans in 18 months. No, you're not. It's not happening.
President John Fetterman.
President John Fetterman. Yeah. Oh man, he'll be dead.
Laserland says, compared to other industries or sectors, Canadian oil and gas is about as Canadian as it gets, 35 to 50% foreign owned. Hey, fair point. Fair point, man.
It's more Canadian owned than our government.
Yeah. Biscuits and coffee. There are many powers already available to provinces, like control and regulation of the police, which provinces can and should employ in a much more radical way to put the screws to Ottawa. Another fair point. See, we've got a flood of smart people in here. What happened? What other show ended? What other live stream kicked you all out? Now you're here. Judas hates Americans so much that he wishes AOC to be president.
I do. That's a fact. Yeah.
I like looking down the pike and seeing who it could be. Like John Fetterman, I could see that campaign.
I could see it, but he's also will be dead. Like his brain is melting in real time.
Nudge Unit says First and Second Amendment are cool, but would we even get that? LOL. They'd probably just make us some territory that doesn't even get those rights. I mean, that's right. What else is Hawaii? Hawaii is part of it.
Who said that down? Is Bill Wilson? Sex Freakman says Porto Bucco.
Yeah.
He called Porto Bucco.
Porto Bucco. Yeah, I mean, so again, maybe we're taking this too seriously. I've just been seeing this in the news, in the political discourse, so it's not just this kooky thing. It's a real thing. So I just wanted to talk about it. But I also wanted to establish that Alberta has a point. And they've been making that point my entire adult life. And hey, maybe it's time we make a better argument that we are stronger together, if that is the case. But also, as what was it, Biscuits and Coffee, it said there's many powers already available to the provinces. I think it's just our government's fucking broken. It's just busted. Just no one knows what their provincial government is capable of, and no one. I don't think the politicians know. It feels like the Canadian government isn't real, if I'm being honest.
The other thing, if you drill down, people are talking about the immigration issues in Alberta, which, I mean, are partly the fault of the federal government, but also are partly the fault of the provincial government. And as much as I feel sorry for Alberta, when I'm talking about feeling sorry for Alberta, I mean the people of Alberta. I mean the businesses in Alberta that have their money taken away from them to send to the fucking French. At the end of the day, if you were sovereign, you're still a democratic nation, which is a huge fucking problem because you're ruled by politicians and it's the same people. And within only maybe 2 terms, you're going to have the exact same problems that we have right now in Ottawa. I'm just preaching about democracy again, but it's fucking democracy is the fucking problem. You know that, right?
Yeah. Can I just say this? President Rob Ford is what's on here right now.
Nice.
Also, President Lori Lightfoot. Is it just for me? For me, it's having an insane, retarded president.
Yeah, Lori Lightfoot would be great. That would be like some end times Onion News shit.
Sorry, I'm just. Here's another tab here from the Alberta 51 Project. Alberta is sovereign following a referendum. We need not apply for separation from Canada via the Clarity Act. We can establish our own constitution and apply for 51st state status. This is just the Alberta 51 Project. I feel like they're the ones that no one wants involved in this. They're seen as like, yes, we don't even need to ask for sovereignty. We can just apply to be the state. I'm like, like a resume. I don't know. I don't know how you do that.
Anonymous Twitter account.
I think you could do that. I think other countries could
just apply. You could apply, but like that doesn't mean it's gonna work.
What's the thing? I'm like, can you? Like, that sounds like just something a guy would do. Like, I want a job. I apply for a job. I want to be someone's son. I apply to be their son. I want to live in someone's walls. You gotta go just file the paperwork.
Sean Schaefer says, monarchy when? That is the actual question. We're not answering that today. But yeah.
Well, the good thing about a monarchy, if it were to arrive, is that we would have no say in it. Because sometimes when you say, well, what can be done, it falls to us. We must do something.
In some
you
sense,
or your friends do. But if it's a monarchy, it's like, well, as Joseph de Maistre says, they will emerge from the people and they will occupy the space of sovereignty that demands the monarch. So it's actually not up to us who's the monarch. It's the guy who's going to shoot and chew and kick and rape his way to the top.
Exactly. That's good. That's a good thing. That's what we want.
So I hope he's out there, but it's got nothing. What can I do? I can't vote for him.
We're waiting for the king.
That's the thing. We need a philosopher king. Well, it's not up to us. That's kind of the point. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah. We're allowed to ask. Look, we're allowed to. Man can have dreams, right?
Oh yeah, Deads asks monarchy how. I'm like, well, that's it. Like you would need such a
That's
disruption.
not. You keep fucking follow on, you son of a bitch. Monarchy when? Monarchy if. Fuck you.
Monarchy whoomst. That's the point about monarchy. It's like, I don't know. Everything has got to get fucked up, and then a guy shows up, and I hope he's good. I hope he's not. I hope he's not Andrew Tate. I hope he's not one of these guys who keeps saying, "Man, I should be king. I wish I was a tyrant." I hope those guys don't end up as a tyrant.
No, they haven't got it in them. Bunch of fucking gay, limp-wristed losers.
It wouldn't surprise me if Andrew Tate's penis was broken.
I don't want to think about that. It wouldn't, but it wouldn't surprise me either. But I'm not thinking about it. It's out there. Now you've said it. Thank you.
It's in the zeitgeist. We got to talk about, but like a guy who tries to convince you that he's a sexual entity, but he exudes no sexuality really. I'm like, you seem like you might be a eunuch.
Yeah, he's a worm. He's a weird looking guy.
Like, I can't imagine this guy with a woman. You know, he's trafficked in women. I'm like, have you ever, Andrew? Have you kissed a girl? I don't know, brother.
Yeah. When you say trafficked in women, I imagine he was packed in the ass of a female mule.
He was the women were trafficking in him. Yeah. He was he was cornholed up some college girl who got in over her head. She had too many margaritas. She had too many mint juleps on spring break. Now she's going to Romania. She's got Andrew Tate on your rectum saying, snapshot, freeze, zoom in. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. Oh, sorry. I am a number. I am not a number. I'm a free man. It says the only way adding a new state would work at this point is if they brought in two states, one red and one blue, with a similar population count. It's like to pit them against each other, I assume. Or maybe that's sort of like the romantic attraction. You bring in two states, opposites attract. You get two new states. Let's say it's Alberta. Let's say it's the East Coast. Let's just group that all into one thing. Now they kiss. Now they're in America. Trump's whacking off. He's loving this. He doesn't know what's going on. Mark Carney is standing there, his arms completely at his sides, saying, this reminds me of John A. MacDonald, who I brought back. I brought back Sir John A. MacDonald. And then we all clap, saying this, now it's going according to plan.
Yeah.
Blood Satellite speaks of this. Dime's retards about this. Dime's saying what we should, not what we want. Andrew Tate's cornhole has had some serious traffic. Look,
yes.
It's in the zeitgeist. I don't make the rules.
We're just reporting the news.
Nudge Unit says, I toy with the theory that Canadians have a problem where we still act like we're subjects of a monarchy and as such are unable to assert ourselves democratically. Interesting idea.
I mean, we are subjects of a monarchy. And
this is
4 generations ago, we were very visceral, living, daily subjects of a monarchy. So I get that whole post-war consensus thing again.
I think
we will be again, God willing, we will be subjects of a monarchy.
And the thing is, he's saying, your day-to-day life is impacted by the decrees of the king or the queen, but it has a psychological effect on you, I think. Like, you understand that there's something else outside of the democracy. Like, if you're having a parliamentary democracy, but you know that there's a king or queen that lives on another continent, some part of you says, oh, so this isn't real. This doesn't matter. Like, it's you're very aware that who gives a shit.
I was going to say, and this is a hard thing to explain, but when you talk about parliamentary democracy, it's supposed to give power to everybody. In some sense, it has kind of broadened power and it gives everybody a little slice of power. But it's almost like power inflation where, yes, it's going to give everybody $50, but the price of bread is $95. So it doesn't fucking matter anymore. When you're under a king, you don't have a lot of power. You have very limited power. And your opportunity to exercise power is limited in time and space. But the amount of power that you require to actually do a thing like kill the king takes very little, because there is a king to kill. The problem with democracy is nobody's responsible for anything ever at all. Even the smallest to the largest thing, nobody's responsible. There's not one fucking guy, there's not 1,000 guys who you could kill today that would change a single fucking thing about our system.
Well, and this is what James Burnham and a lot of the elite theorists talk about, that the responsibility, the ownership has been disseminated on this entire managerial class, and the bureaucracy would be another term for it. And you hear this all the time by saying, like, that's not my job. I'm not responsible for that. Right. And so nothing is anyone's responsibility ever.
It's Japanese knotweed. How do you fucking get rid of it now? Whether you like it or not, it's there, and it's like, so what's the point of having political power if the system itself is an unstoppable cancer? And here we are. This is the bureaucracy.
Just for people who know what we're talking about, this is what I've been dealing with on my lawn right now.
It's Canadian kudzu.
Yeah, let me just pull this up. We'll pull up an image, whatever. There's a lot of literature down here, I guess. So basically, I noticed that because we bought our house in the winter, I noticed that there's this exciting new plant that's cropping up all along the foundation of my new house. And I look it up, and it looks kind of like rhubarb, but it's also like bamboo, and that's a hollow tube. I learned it's Japanese knotweed, which is the most invasive species of weed you could imagine. There's a rhizome, like a mushroom, that sits like 13 feet up beneath the soil, to the point where you can't dig it out. Not really. You can dig as far as you want and get and think you got the root, but it lays dormant. This shit grows on the side of Japanese volcanoes. Like you can't. You just need to wage a war against it. Like I did a one pass on the side of my house, cut it below, like right at the root, then I poured Roundup down it, because I was checking forums, I'm checking articles of what to do about Japanese. Like, what would the professionals do? And every answer was sell your house, move, go, flee. And I said, hardy har professionals. But the other thing, you can't use any natural pesticide, herbicide. Oh, wish you had vinegar with some fucking black currant jelly. It's like, no, you need Roundup. You need the nuclear option, and then you need a few nukes. Ironically, because it's a Japanese knotweed, you gotta nuke it at least twice before it stops doing what it's doing. But they said, like, you're going to do this like a couple of years and wage unending war against this entity. Because I cleared them out, and it's back. Like, it's already, like, the one patch that's right by the chicken coop, they're as tall as me. Like, this is fucking ludicrous.
Kill it, yeah.
And of course, and you're using Roundup, which kills anything green, so you better be careful with that if you ever want to grow anything there ever again.
Yeah.
So this is my nightmare. Hello, hi guys, I'm Dimes. My life is in shambles, and I love pain. A large bit of knotweed in your yard soil, just get new soil, duh. You know what? Don't. He's got it.
Yeah, fucked up.
Can you use knotweed for anything? Some people say you can eat it. They say it's like rhubarb, but even rhubarb's a stretch. No one loves rhubarb unless you just you make it into a pie. On its own, it's like it is like that. It's just this bitter, shitty thing. You can eat dandelions too. You can eat weeds. You can eat anything.
Broadleaf plantain.
It's just whether you want to. You know what I mean? Like
I eat all those things all the time. He doesn't even know. It's shit's good.
You eat weeds, you eat fucking...
They're only weeds if you don't want them.
Eating bones, grinding up bones. You got like a troll's diet.
This nigga doesn't grind up his bones. Damn.
You're out in these streets like fucking Shrek, brother. he's eating fucking boiled clothes. Hold on, let's get one for that. Let's get one for mocking Judas. Yeah, we gotta get going, man. We've been all over the map on this one. This is a classic fuck you episode. Fuck you for tuning in.
Thank you for listening, participating, leaving your comments, liking, and subscribing.
Floating through the air because I'm being lured by Dimes' knotweed pie on the windowsill. a traveling hobo is lured in. Oh yeah, can I implant my rhizome deep in your yard, Oni-chan? Yes. Wilted dandelion greens are edible, says Michi Pichi. True. Like back in the day, I were coming up with business ideas, and I had said me and my wife were making desserts. We were selling waffles. We started this little waffle business, and I had this idea of using like candied dandelions because I'd read somewhere. I'm like, you can prepare them in such a way that you can eat them and they're good, and put them in syrup and serve them on a waffle. I'm like, well, that's novel, but it's a lot of
the
fluff.
Syrup. The dandelion syrup thing is such a grift, such a scam, because the syrup component of it, they have almost no sugar. The syrup is just fucking cane sugar from a bag you get at the grocery store. The dandelion is just giving it a subtle honey-like flavor, but it's 95% sugar from the grocery store.
So yeah,
to say that it's like, what you should be doing is eating it as a salad if you want your greens, but everybody knows if you're not gay, you can't just eat greens. So
you should eat a bowl of sugar.
My only critique is like when saying like, oh, rhubarb is bad because it can only be used in pies. Frankly, I yearn for a world where every single ingredient is only used in one thing, and we have 10,000 ingredients. Imagine the luxurious spread.
You don't
every
yearn
dish.
for that.
Yeah, I do. No, I do.
Excuse me.
I want to have. I want to
sir.
have a dinner.
Sir, you don't yearn for that.
I do. No, I'm serious. I'm telling you right now. I like to be able. I don't want to eat the same fucking ham 5 days a week. I want to have squab on Thursdays. I want to have rabbit. I want to have fucking mutton. I haven't had mutton in like 7 years. I want variety, dude. But I only want to have mutton that one time, once a year.
Let me just
say
I
want to have it.
I've completely misunderstood your point. I thought you were saying something. I don't know what I heard. But if you're just saying you want more variety in your food, yes, that is something to yearn for. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Rhubarb is only good in pies. Great. You should still grow it for the pies twice a year. Then you've got the pie. Like, that is so decadent that you can have this thing that's only used for this one. Like currants, also, we have black currants here. They're really only good for jam. That's kind of all you can use them for. It's great. It's great fucking jam. Eat the jam. That's it.
Let me just say, I got a good comment here, and this is an obvious solution. Ded said you need to get goat pilled.
Yeah,
I bet if I had a goat, all of these problems go away.
They do it, man. You could fence a goat around that side of your house to just eat it every day.
Yeah, I should actually.
Yeah,
like I have so many critters. I have so many vermin in this fucking place.
Well, you know what? Unironically, fuck the town planning council, whoever, the bylaw officers, build a fence around it, a privacy fence, and put like 2 chickens in there. They'll just eat it all day long. That's done. It's problem solved. As long as it's localized. I'm serious. Like my chickens, have you seen my spot with my fucking chickens? They anywhere where they can reach, within a month, it's mud. Because the minute they see something green, they destroy it.
So Sex Freakman says, so today we have some, I don't fucking know. Biscuits says Judas hasn't eaten hogget in a coon's age. This is where you can get me all fucked up. If you got a southern accent, you can tell me that you just make up words and say, yeah, I had fucking rice jam.
Let me just Google that real quick. Yeah.
Hogget. One of those like mutton. Yeah, mutton. Dime's trying to keep goats from jumping fences. Arc. Oh no! Here's the thing. I need new problems. I think I only feel alive when I feel like I'm losing control of something.
Yep.
So introducing a new life form into this just so it could like try and escape me, and I gotta go after it.
Yeah.
This is us getting the Bronze Age mindset. I think like we're working our way towards. I mean, slaughtering a village isn't far off. I have to imagine.
We gotta hunt those vultures too, because you got vultures living in your.
I've got vultures. I got a family of vultures.
We're gonna hunt your vultures.
Well, I'm trying to figure out like, am I getting rid of the vultures? Or am I befriending the vultures? It's like spider. Like I told my son the other day, it's good to have spiders around. Spiders keep away all these other things. What else are vultures good for except eating corpses? It's got something.
Well, hey, now hold on. If you were going to get into a business that generated corpses, then you already have part of the capex is already done. So you're like one step ahead competitively of all the other corpse generating business models, which we won't get into.
He knows how to get me on board because he knows how to use the phrasing that gets me excited. He's saying capex. He's talking ROI. I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm in. I like this. It's like my wife describing neo-noir. And I'm like, yeah, I want that. I want a fucking dark thing with a purple shaft of light on the screen and a main character that doesn't fucking talk. Just give me that until I die soon. Okay, so we need to get going now. We've been going for like close to 2.5 hours.
Yeah, no worries.
I hope you all were nourished by this. I think we all became a little closer. I think we all became a little wiser today. We got to watch a man get upset and lose all his money, and that's a good day for me.
Yeah.
All right. One that's like Dimes starting a pig farm to dispose of all the corpses from his vulture business. Another arc. I got so many arcs, man. I'm loving.
It's gonna be a great year. Yeah.
I'm loving the idea of life. All right, I'll let you guys go, guys. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the comments, everything. You're all wonderful people.